still can't get over what we saw happening outside the starship.
Yeah, our planet's really not doing too hot right about now.
I've only ever seen Rena from the surface of Dana, so I figured it was just another round planet like ours. Still though, I never would have imagined Rena actually looked like that. And what's the deal with that giant flower coming out of it?
Beats me. I have absolutely no clue. It's so surreal. It looks like a broken egg or something.
Rena and Dana. We were taught that both worlds were spherical bodies that floated amongst the stars in the heavens. But to think that they lied to us not only about the Sovereign and the Crown contest, but also the form of our own planet.
Dohalim.
Okay, who's the wise guy that summoned us here?
Someone formidable enough to bring our starship along with us.
They must be here somewhere. Let's find them.
That beam of light joining Dana and Rena. It was the Renan side that it first came from, right?
That's what it looked like. And then the Danon side responded.
Perhaps it was some kind of directive from the Renan homeworld? To reawaken the Wedge and Lenegis?
Which would mean that whoever's behind all this is on Rena after all. But what are they after? Is it really worth going through all this trouble just to steal Dana's energy?
Try to stay calm. With so many factors we don't understand, dwelling on it won't get us anywhere. What is it?
No, it's just... Zephyr once told me the same thing. So much for me making progress, huh?
You made it this far, didn't you? You notice something, you change it. That's all anyone can do. But you can't stand still in the meantime.
This place looks a lot like that room we saw back in the Forbidden Zone.
Huh? What's that? It's one of those!
A red woman in disguise. Or is this their true form?
So it was a trap?
It doesn't look like it can move. Tell me, are you the one who brought us here?
That is correct. It is unusual for me to have unexpected guests these days.
It can talk.
What are you?
Hevrecht 35.
Hevrecht 35. Is that your name?
Correct.
What is this place? No, wait, before that, just what exactly are you? Are you somehow associated with the Red Women?
Before I answer, I have a question for you. How did you all arrive in this sector?
We did not come to this place by choice. Our ship was brought here against our will, by a group of Red Women who can shift into the same form as you.
In that case, we can assume my brethren who serve the Great Spirit have deemed you all to be a threat most grave.
What do you mean, serve? Are you saying there really is someone more powerful than the Red Women, pulling their strings?
What did you do to us?
I examined your bodies. You have not been harmed in any way. Identifiers detected. The Sovereign and Maiden are among you. However, you aren't under its control. I see why they viewed you as a danger now.
Oh, goody. More riddles.
Do you think we can trust this thing?
Like it or not, it may be our best chance at a ticket out of here. Let's at least hear it out.
I shall now answer your questions. We are Helgenquil. The Red Women you encountered previously are a form of disguise we employ from time to time, but not our true form.
Helganquil?
You are on Dake Phasol, a celestial base which drifted here by accident. The will of Rena's great spirit no longer reaches us here. Since my sudden separation from the Great Spirit's influence, I have used any and all means to extend my lifespan. As I have done so, I have also set out to monitor and research Rena and Dana from this position.
A question. What is this great spirit of which you speak? Is it something that rules over your kind?
Correct. The Great Astral Spirit is a large mass of astral energy that fills all of Rena, one with its own will, a voice we cannot refuse.
A voice? Just like Dana.
The voice of the Great Spirit speaks to our hearts directly, and we have served it without question throughout the ages.
Does that mean it was controlling your minds? Wait a second. Could this Great Spirit be the true Sovereign of Rena?
The true ruler of Rena. It could be the same thing that's controlling Volron.
Wait, back up. You're telling us this great spirit of yours is the one that ordered you things to harvest the astral energy from Dana? I'm not sure I believe that.
Why not? We've already made contact with the will of Dana back in the Wedge, and in the Forbidden Zone on Lenegus. If Dana has a will of its own, I don't see why Rena wouldn't.
Maybe not, but think about what you're saying. If Dana has a will like Rena, then that would mean that we've been controlled by the voice of Dana this whole time, just like these things.
Dana's will hasn't been forcing us to do anything.
Yeah, but
Let's assume that what Hevrecht 35 claims is true, and that we are indeed cut off from both planets. Even if we had previously been under the control of Dana's will, we would have noticed now that we are disconnected.
Your fear is not based in logic. The voice of Dana is much smaller and quieter compared to that of Rena's Great Spirit. Rena's astral energy is amassed at its center, whereas Dana's is shared among all its constituents. So thinly is that energy spread that it cannot coalesce and formulate a will. Our findings here indicate as much.
Which explains why we felt its will where we did. The Wedge and Lenegus are where so much of that energy had been accumulated.
The Great Spirit's desire is to consume all astral energy, and the pursuit of that desire is why you see Rena in its current state. As a result, it has turned its attention toward Dana.
Is that why the crown contest is necessary? So that the Great Spirit can feed off of Dana?
Indeed. And it was to that end that we Helganquil devised the crown contest. Had the initial spirit channeling from 300 years ago succeeded, all of Dana's astral energy would have been seized.
But the ceremony failed. Lenegis was severely damaged, and you lost both the Sovereign and the Renis Alma.
Correct. A change in plan was required to ensure the spirit channeling's success. However, recreating the Renis Alma required a vast amount of energy. That is why we turned to Dana.
So that was the real purpose behind the crown contest. An efficient means to harvest the necessary energy from Dana.
This is all happening because of me.
Nevertheless, you still haven't answered one of Alphen's original questions. Just why have you brought us here to your base, Hevrecht 35?
First, it was to confirm the identities of you, my unexpected visitors. Second, it was to ascertain whether you would be likely to accept my request.
A request? But what could someone like you want us to...
I wish for you all to slay the Great Spirit.
I'm sorry, did you just ask us to kill your master?
I did. It is in your best interest that you do so, I might add.
What makes you say that?
Lenegis has entered the final stage of the spirit channeling plan. As we speak, Dana's energy is being harvested en masse and transmitted to Rena. If nothing is done about the Great Spirit, it will not be long before all is lost.
You're saying the destruction we saw earlier is just the beginning? That...
We won't let that happen.
Why do you want us to kill the Great Spirit so badly? Is it to save our world? To free you, Helganquil, from under its control? Why?
No. My primary concern is validating our findings and analysis, which have taken many years to realize. As such, it is my desire to see how your actions impact and change these systems. However, I will not deny that vengeance also plays a part.
Vengeance? For what?
In spite of our long service to the Great Spirit, our species is on the brink of extinction.
You mean... you're dying?
At this stage, it would be wise for you to talk with the others. Ask them what you need to know. Once you have your answer, return to me. If you agree to help, I shall fix your ship.
Others? Just how many of you are there?
I am the only Helganquil who inhabits Dake Faisal.
Hey! Hey!
It's no use. I think it's done talking to us. Let's take a look around.
You can't seriously be buying anything that creature told us, right? I mean, it's practically blackmailing us into doing its dirty work.
To be honest, the conversation went on for so long, I'm not sure I understood all of it. How about you, Dohalim? Were you able to follow it at all?
At the very least, everything it said about the Renan Great Spirit adds up. At the end of the day, this whole chain of events comes back to astral energy. That being said, had we not previously encountered the will of Dana, I suspect I would find its story much more difficult to believe.
The spirit of Rena wants to see Dana completely destroyed.
But why? Astral energy is supposed to be a force that creates and shapes the world.
It doesn't matter. I don't care if we're up against an entire world or what its game is. We're not going to let it destroy Dana.
Right.
There is one other thing that concerns me. How the Great Spirit, the Helganquil, and the Crown Contest are all part of a centuries-long plan is clear enough. But what about the Renans? How do they factor into all this?
Now that you mention it, and all that talk, Hevric 35 never even brought up the Renans once. And as for the Helganquil, we never did find out just what they are either.
Maybe it had a reason for keeping its silence. Or perhaps there's even more going on. Maybe the others will shed more light on the matter. Let's find out. Who are they?
What is it?
Oh, my apologies. It's just been so long since I've seen any humans from the outside world.
Are you a Renan?
Oh, yeah, I guess so. The Overseer told us to answer any questions you might have. Whatever you want to know, we'll tell you as much as we can. But be quick. Our subjects are undergoing a dramatic shift that we don't want to miss.
What a weird guy.
He must have meant Hevric 35 when he mentioned that Overseer.
And what was that about subjects? You don't think he meant Dana and Rena, do you?
There isn't anyone else we can talk to. I guess we should ask around here. Can we talk to you for a few minutes?
Sure. It's going to be a while before the two planets undergo their next shift, so I can talk until then.
Please, tell us what you know about the Helganquil.
You mean the Overseer's species? I can't say I know much about them.
Well, for starters, where'd they come from?
Where else? From Rena, obviously.
From Rena? Wait, are you telling us those things live right alongside the Renans down there?
Of course not. There's really no such thing as Renans in the first place.
Excuse me?
Oh, I thought the Overseer explained everything.
Apparently not.
Please, tell us more.
Well, in a nutshell, the Renans were originally created from Danans by the Helganquil.
But if that's true, then that would mean there aren't any people on Rena.
There aren't. But there are Helganquil. That's what the name literally means in their language. People of Rena.
But what need could they possibly have to create a whole new race of people?
It was a way to bolster their dwindling workforce. I trust you're aware that the Helganquil are on the verge of extinction, yes? In essence, we were created to carry on their work for the Great Spirit after they all die. They gathered Danans who had an affinity for astral arts and proceeded from there. That's why we, as their descendants, can all cast arts, albeit to varying degrees.
Let me get this straight. Are you saying Renans were originally created from Danans that the Helganquil kidnapped?
Wait, that explains why almost nobody can use Astro Arts on Dana now.
Helganquil technology is truly amazing. The way they alter their bodies is far less invasive than your conventional surgeries.
They have these tiny machines that are practically invisible, which they insert into their bodies and...
Enough! You needn't tell us anymore.
How can you speak so calmly about all of this?
I guess I can see how, when viewed in a certain light, their ways may sound grotesque. But if you ask me, I think they ultimately did us a favor. They saved us from crawling the earth in ignorance. If it meant their hands had to get a little dirty in the process, then so be it. Anyway, the Helganquil are the real Renans. Personally, I don't think it's such a big deal. They're also mostly the ones behind what you see going on between the two planets. I think that covers just about everything worth knowing.
I see. Thanks for filling us in.
Does he really expect us to believe that Renans never truly existed? How absurd.
Dohalim.
Just when I think we're getting to the bottom of it all, some new revelation smacks us in the face.
Then let's hope this is our last revelation for a while. Do you know anything about a spirit channeling plan?
If you mean the first plan from 300 years ago, then yes. Do you know what its main objective was?
Yes. It was to use Lenegis to siphon off Dana's astral energy and send it to Rena.
Exactly. However, there were two problems we had to consider. First was how to collect and send such a large quantity of astral energy without it becoming sentient. Second, we had to figure out how to convert Dana's energy so it would be compatible with Rena.
I take it the solutions to those problems were to use the wedge for the collection, and then the Sovereign and Maiden to convert the energy.
We have a winner! However, the first plan failed when the Sovereign was overwhelmed and became frenzied. The reason for that is because the Maiden lost control. I'm told he slaughtered many Renans and Helganquil that day. For the next plan, we tried to recreate the Renis Alma, but we didn't have nearly enough of the other non-dark astral energy types. To amend that, we set our sights on Dana, and implemented a system whereby we could extract energy from it.
And the crown contests began.
Correct. Since the Maiden had been the failing point in the previous plan, it was decided to replace her role with machinery to avoid further mishaps. A new Sovereign had to be made as well. It was such tremendously difficult work, its success was dubious. But from the look of things, it would appear such worries were unfounded.
So that's what the purpose of that room we found in the Forbidden Zone was.
What about the flower that sprouted from Rena?
Flower? Oh, that thing. That's the physical manifestation of all the astral energy that's been harvested from Dana. As I'm sure you've noticed, it's quite a lot of energy. At this point, it's likely that it's become physically integrated with Rena's planetary structure.
Hevric 35 mentioned that the spirit channeling plan is entering its final stage. Is that true?
It is. I never thought I would live to see the day with my own eyes, and yet here we are. Are we done talking now? If it's all the same to you, I'd really rather not miss anything that's about to happen.
He talks like the potential end of the world is just another day on the job.
You've got to remember that these guys have been living alone up here for a long time. Who knows what shape their minds are in?
Have you guys lived up here in Deg Fazel with Hevrek 35 for a long time?
Yes. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head just how long it's been, though. We regularly go into stasis, so our sense of time has gotten rather out of whack over the years.
Why are you all even here in the first place?
Originally, this station was where we worked to perform maintenance on Lenegis from the outside.
We heard that the facility ended up in its current location due to an accident.
Oh, it was terrible. Apparently there was some kind of accident, and when help never arrived, they presumed the entire facility had been destroyed.
And you've been working for Hevrek 35 ever since?
Well, at first we thought that there was nobody else inside the facility, but then it turned out the Overseer was there all along.
What do you mean?
The Helganquil have the technology to cloak themselves around us Renans. As long as they don't do anything obvious, a Renan won't see one, even if it's right in front of them.
Which would explain why Shion and I failed to notice the Red Women previously. Do they employ an astral art of some sort?
I haven't been able to scientifically confirm it for myself, but from what I understand, the type of cloaking they use is primarily achieved through mechanical means. In addition, they also used hypnosis devices and information control to get us to do what they wanted without being detected. It's a pretty sophisticated operation, especially since it avoids any unnecessary conflict. I have to imagine that's how Lenegis is still run.
But aren't the Helganquil themselves controlled by the Great Spirit? If so, why aren't Renans affected by it in the same way?
The Great Spirit's mind control only works on Helganquil, so they had to employ other means to manipulate us Renans.
You act like this didn't affect you personally. If I was you, I'd be mad as hell at their deceptions.
I mean, sure, I was surprised when I first found out about it, but it happened so long ago.
Hevrek 35 has clearly ceased concealing itself, though. Why is that?
Who can say? My guess is it just got bored, or maybe even a little lonely.
Don't you want to go back home to Rena or Lenegis? Our ship is going to be fixed pretty soon. You could ride with us.
No way. If we went back after knowing the truth, they'd either just brainwash us or purge us outright. After all this time, there's nothing to be gained from going back. We've all agreed it'd be best to simply stay here and watch everything unfold instead. Things are going just fine with the Overseer. Not that it'll be around much longer. It can't extend its life any further. That said, I'm sure it's pleased to see the final stage of the plan before it passes on, though.
Thank you for answering our questions.
It feels like our whole world has been turned upside down. Is there anything we know that's still true at this point?
Seriously, I'm still trying to process the fact that we Renans were created by the Helganquil, let alone the Sovereign and Maiden stuff.
Let's take a moment to gather ourselves. I know all of this is a lot to believe and take in, but I think it's fair to say that we've found the answers we've been looking for. Does everyone agree?
Agreed. Though I'll admit that I never expected it to all boil down to Rena's Great Spirit being behind everything.
Everything that's happened, everything we've endured, it's all because of astral energy.
And to get that energy, the Great Spirit took control of the Helganquil. Then the Helganquil created the Renans, who went on to invade and rule over the Danans.
Plus, the reason the Great Spirit can't directly control the Renans as well is likely because they were originally Danans all along.
Either way, I think it's fair to say we've all had a lot to take in at once. Maybe too much, even. We should probably take it easy and rest our minds a bit. Why don't we all take some time to think things over, before we decide on our next move?
That's a good idea, Kisara. If the Renan Great Spirit really is behind all this, then we've got a really big fight ahead of us. Because it's not just Dana on the line, but Rena too. If we're going to do this, we need to be completely sure of ourselves. So let's go ahead and break off for now. We aren't in any immediate danger, so we should be okay. You sure you don't want to be alone right now?
I could ask you the same question.
I figured I'd get all my thinking in while walking around and checking up on everybody.
I'll go along with you. I'm interested to hear what's on everyone's minds, too.
Sounds good. Let's go find them.
Everyone's just gone their own way, huh?
Yeah, let's hit up each spot. Everything we thought we knew. It was all just a fabrication that the Red Women, no, that the Helganquil made up.
Right. Assuming we can believe anything that Hevrek 35 has told us, that is.
Well, if the names are anything to go by, it's possible the Helganquil could be behind the fruits of Helgen too.
But if Hevrek 35 was telling the truth, and this was all just one massive lie, does that mean everything we've done up until now has been pointless?
No, I don't think so. Or at least I hope not. I think it just means we've lost our foothold for now. That's all.
Really? Well then, if we've lost it, I guess we'll just have to find another. All of us together. And if we can't find one, then we'll make a new one. End of story.
Make one, huh? I see. Right then. Count me in.
Oh, it's you two. Does he seem like he's doing any better now?
He who? Oh, you mean Dohalim, don't you?
I know that we're all struggling to wrap our minds around it all, but he looked like he was taking it really hard earlier.
What do you think about everything we've learned? About the Renans and the Great Spirit and all that?
On some level, I'm not even really sure what to think, to be honest. I mean, the Great Spirit is like a huge natural disaster, but with a mind and will of its own. But if that thing's hellbent on trying to destroy our planet, then the only thing left for us to do is stop it. As for the Renans, I suppose my feelings on that are a bit more mixed.
How so?
Coexistence between Danans and Renans in Menancia is still a work in progress. In my case, I think that's partly because deep down, I was still on guard around Renans. So, to be told that they're like us, that they're actually just like us is, well, I guess it's a little deflating, to be honest.
You kept a pretty level head.
You mean about the Renans? At the end of the day, the Helganquil and the Great Spirit are the ones who are responsible. But at the same time, I realize that not every Danan is necessarily going to believe that either.
I know you're already aware of this, but the list of grievances the Danans have against the Renans is long, and understandably so. And if people then find out that they're all actually one and the same, yeah, I don't think they're going to take to it too kindly.
Even just among the Danans, I'm sure there'll be some who emerge with power and some who won't. I think if we can find a way to get rid of that imbalance, then we'll be in a truly good place.
Well, first we can try to figure out what to do about the existing conflicts we have.
Yeah. It'd be nice if one day people could learn to get past their hatred like Rinwell did.
It's no small task. We can't pretend like the past didn't happen and ask people to forget their very real pain and suffering.
Right. Everybody has their reasons for feeling the way that they do. But if we just keep yelling at each other about it, we'll never move on. In a worst-case scenario, it might lead to even more people getting killed.
And we all have to figure out how to meet halfway. Not just that, but to also embrace each other's pain, in a sense.
That's an interesting way of putting it.
It's true. Everybody has their own scars, their own trauma. The first step to healing those wounds is to put aside that hatred. It won't be achieved through reasoning, but I think it's a good first step, if nothing else. And now, I think I see a way to move forward. But to do that, first we need to make sure our planet isn't going to get wiped out.
You both seem awfully calm.
Only because after everything we've seen, we don't have the energy to keep being shocked.
How are you holding up, Rinwell? That whole talk about the Renans looked like it shook you up a bit.
Yeah. I get this sinking feeling whenever I remember how Danan mages like my family were persecuted and died out. And now, I finally know why that is. But I was thinking, if Renans end up living together with Danans again, then mages won't be such an unusual thing to see on Dana anymore, right? I know it's not as simple as all that, but Danans probably won't be so quick to let their guards down, and there might be Renans who still act superior because of their arts.
It wouldn't surprise me. 300 years of bad blood and prejudice isn't going to be an easy thing to overcome.
Yeah, I know firsthand just how much hatred can take hold in your heart once you let it in. But even so, I was still able to change. And if I can change, so can anyone else. So I was thinking maybe, I don't know, I could use my position as both a Danan and a mage to help bring both sides together.
Rinwell.
That great spirit worries me too, though. Dana's will feels so warm and inviting. So why is Rena's will trying to destroy our entire planet?
Now that you mention it, Everick 35 and the other scientists here never really brought that up. Maybe they don't know either.
Maybe. But regardless, at the end of the day, Dana's still our home. There's no way we can let it be destroyed.
We won't. We'll keep it safe no matter what.
I still can't believe it, man.
You're not the only one still trying to make sense of all this. Believe me.
Really? You've never struck me as the type of guy to get hung up on these sorts of things.
Did you forget what happened back in Thistleum? Once my memories started coming back to me, I felt completely and totally lost.
It was really that bad for you?
Yeah, it was. But thanks to Law and everybody else, I remembered that I still had things out there worth fighting for.
Man, I think you might be a better guy than me, Alphen. All I can remember thinking was, when's this guy gonna get his act together?
Law.
I was too worried about repeating the same mistakes I'd made back with my dad, and running away from the truth. That was no way to live. And I've tried to stay strong, my way. But all this talk about other races and the world ending, if I can be honest with you guys, it's just all too much for me to handle right now.
I know this is going to sound strange coming from me, but maybe the key is not to worry too much about the big stuff right now.
Oh?
I used to worry all the time about my thorns, for obvious reasons, but I never really opened up to anyone about them. And when I realized my visions pointed to a threat that was bigger than me, I didn't know what I should do or who to tell. But that's when I finally got it. You guys were all there for me, to teach me what's really important. I just had to open up and listen.
In other words, if you let the big picture stuff get you all muddled up inside, you'll begin to lose sight of what you really care about. Yeah, I think you're right.
The thing that's most important, what I really care about, all I want to do is protect the people that really matter to me, to fight for them. That's good enough, right?
Not everyone is strong enough to fight.
Huh?
It's something your dad told me once when he was still alive. Law, you know you're strong enough to fight, and you're strong enough to protect the people you care about. Forget all the big stuff going on. Just don't lose sight of what you want to protect in the first place. Sound good?
Yeah, I think it does. It's like a big weight's been lifted off my shoulders. I'll fight to protect the people around me. Just like I always have. I think that's best.
I apologize for making you witness that.
You mean hearing the origins of the Renans?
Indeed. It's shocking to have so many things I thought to be indelible fade away in mere seconds.
Even I'm still not sure everything we've heard here is actually true.
Let's not delude ourselves. If what we've heard is a lie, it's a rather elaborate one. I can only imagine that you must have been constantly feeling like this, ever since your memory returned, Alphen. And you as well, Shion. About your thorns, and being a maiden.
That's just part of being alive, don't you think?
Well, to say the least. But enough about me. I'm not concerned for myself. What concerns me is all of the other Renans out there.
When you say the other Renans, you mean the ones that are living on Lenegis or Dana, right?
Correct. Even if we stop the Great Spirit from annihilating Dana, our problems will still remain. Putting aside the untold state that Rena may be in, if we do not truly belong there, we will have to think long and hard about where it is that we wish to return to.
So, I guess your only real choices at this point are to either stay on Lenegis, or come down to Dana, huh? And right now, Lenegis might not even be a safe option.
And at the same time, Danans are hardly likely to embrace Renans with open arms. If the issue is forced, things could turn dire. There is, after all, 3 centuries worth of hatred to overcome between us. And the victims of our rule have absolutely every right to feel animosity towards us Renans. Our own circumstances as the aggressors are irrelevant.
I didn't expect the former Lord of Menancia to be so down about people reconciling.
Menancia's fate was a stroke of good luck. There had been backlash over how it had been ruled, and I was blessed to have sympathizers among my ranks. Still, even now, there remain ardent dissidents.
But things can still change if you have the right people to help lead the way. Isn't that what you hope to achieve on Lenegis, after this is all over?
Indeed. I have fully accepted the burden of that responsibility. In that regard, I remain determined. On that note, I have something of a favor to ask of you, Alphen.
Oh? What is it?
I wish for you to serve as a mediator so that the Renans can live on Dana peaceably. As the one and only Blazing Sword, I suspect the Danans may listen to what you have to say when problems arise.
And I take it that you'll be the one to represent the Renans?
Yes. I realize that I'm asking quite a lot of you. However, the fact of the matter is that it will take time for Renans to re-enter Danan society without any bloodshed. That is why...
You're the same as ever, Dohalim.
Is it too much?
No, relax. You get so tense and formal when you're asking for a favor. Listen, there's no need for that. We're friends.
You're too kind. I can see you were raised well.
That's some high praise, Alphen.
Then I'll ask once again, this time just as friends. Alphen, will you help me?
You don't even need to ask. Of course I will.
Thank you, my friend.
Well, it sounds like everyone's learning from their past and using it to create a better future for everyone.
What about you, Shion? How do you feel about the origin of the Renans?
To be honest, I'm not really all that shocked, actually. I mean, I might be a Renan in the literal sense, but I've never really felt like one of them. Right now, it's kind of a mystery.
How do you mean?
Because for a really, really long time, all I ever thought about was how I was going to die. Not if or when, but how. I thought I'd die alone. That fate had me in its steely grip. I would have never imagined that I'd be traveling with someone like you, fighting to save Rena and Dana. I mean, how could I have? It's been going on for 300 years. All this tragedy and destruction. When you consider the Helganquil's part in all this, it's been even longer than that. It was Naori's hope that somehow, someone in the future would be able to stop it, before it was too late. How it fell on us, of all people, to heed that call, is a mystery.
I don't think Naori was hoping that we would just stop the world from getting destroyed. She considered me, a Danan, as a real person. And she very much cherished her own people, too. I don't think she wanted the world to be saved, just so they could go back to hurting each other. Oh, maybe this is what she meant.
Huh?
When we were talking to Kisara earlier, about all that stuff like everyone's needing to meet halfway and embrace each other's pain and suffering. She said that the first step down that path was for each of us to put aside our own hatred. That means forgiving other people, even and especially before they forgive you.
Forgiving. So it goes both ways, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I don't just mean forgiving things that happened in the past either. Conflicts will keep happening. If we have any hope of moving on and building a better future, we have to all learn to forgive each other.
You know, you're right. People can hurt one another without even meaning to. I know that better than most, thanks to these thorns.
It's not going to be easy getting past this pain. But if we can do it, I'm sure there'll come a time when we can all truly understand each other. I'm there with you, Shion. I too want to protect the world we live in, and all the people we care about. I think that's the very least I can do to repay Naori for everything that she did.
Yeah. I want a future that she would feel proud to live in, and I'm going to fight for it.
Whoa there, Savior Girl. We're here to save you too, you know.
Yes, I know. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten. I want to live, and that's the honest truth.
Well, is everybody ready to do what... needs to be done?
I am. There's a lot to think about, but at the end of the day, Dana's still in danger. I don't care who we're up against. We'll kick their ass.
What are your thoughts, Alphen? I want to know what's on your mind, too.
Like Law said, if we have to fight the Great Spirit on Rena, then so be it. It's trying to rob us of our entire world. And it's going to take not just our home, but all of existence along with it. That alone is enough to make it our enemy. But it's not only that. One way or another, I think beating the Great Spirit is going to be tied to us saving Shion.
You're saying there's a chance?
You're referring to the vision of destruction we all saw in Lenegis, I take it?
Yeah. 3 centuries ago, the astral energy that appeared at the spirit channeling ceremony showed Naori that vision. And to hear Shion tell it, it's the same one that she sees from her own thorns as well.
Indeed. Shion's thorns are comprised of dark astral energy, the one type which we know is native only to Rena. And if Rena's great spirit is what's behind Dana's pending destruction, then...
Shionne's thorns are the Great Spirit? It's not actually on Rena like we thought?
We don't know anything for certain. At the very least, though, I think it's possible her thorns are a part of the Great Spirit.
While the main body resides in Rena.
Shionne.
If these thorns really are a part of Rena's great spirit, I'm going to go over there and give it a piece of my mind and then some.
The question is, how do we confront it? Suffice it to say, that flower growing out of Rena is enormous, large enough to house the will of an entire planet. The Wedge and Lenegis were both hard enough for us to overcome in their own right. This is an altogether greater challenge for merely 6.
And we only know about the Thorns' connection thanks to Naori.
Heverick 35 has been observing the Great Astral Spirit this whole time. It wouldn't ask us to fight it unless it has a plan of some sort. Let's go see what that is. Our minds are made up. Let's go give Heverick 35 our answer.
So if the Sovereign and Maiden were originally boot-up programs for Lenegis, what about now?
Even with the Forbidden Zone in ruins and the Renis Alma stolen, Lenegis is functioning fine. If it needed us before, it doesn't appear to now.
First they lumber you with a position you never asked for, then you're discarded like you're nothing? Who the hell do they think they are?
More importantly, who do they think we are? We might not even factor into their list of concerns.
I just hope everyone on Lenegis is safe.
Worst comes to worst, Lenegis is equipped with a large number of starships the people can escape in. As long as the whole satellite doesn't suddenly explode or something, they should be fine.
Wait, explode?
In any case, if we're truly going to make a difference, it's on Rena we're needed, not Lenegis. The people there will be fine, I'm sure of it.
Right.
This is great. The taste and aroma will... After mastering countless recipes and gathering enough ingredients to last a lifetime, I finally cooked my greatest Mabo curry! This is a specially made, one-of-a-kind batch. It contains only the best combination of spices, chosen after a lot of trying.
You're...
Spices.
I think I'll have some later after everyone else. I'm not that hungry right now.
You sure?
It does smell pretty tasty now that you...
The heat from the spices is intense, but not persistent, so it's easy to go back for second.
You're making a good case for your curry, Alphen. What the hell? Serve me up!
Oh, wow.
To be honest, I'm a little scared how my stomach...
Indeed. The spiciness has been so fine.
Right? I knew...
Like it?
Law, really? Don't talk with your mouth full.
There's plenty for everyone, so eat as...
Do you have your answer for me?
We want to ask something first. You're asking us to fight an entire planet. How exactly do you expect us to do that? You must have something up your sleeve, or else you wouldn't put us up to it.
The great astral spirit is an immense being, but its actual will does not run throughout its entire body. Rather, its will is derived from the core, which supports the rest of the body, and is where its strength is most densely concentrated. Therefore, if you destroy the core, the Great Spirit shall become unable to maintain sentience and return to being ordinary astral energy.
And how are we supposed to destroy that core?
By using the Renus Alma. You will also need the assistance of both the Sovereign and the Maiden. They are our best tools for suppressing and controlling astral energy. Using their powers, the Maiden shall seal the great astral spirit within her body, and the Sovereign shall wield the power of the Renus Alma to destroy it.
Hold on. That sounds a lot like what Shion described before.
Yeah, killing herself to take out the thorns with her.
She was actually right all along.
By my calculations, your powers combined should be sufficient to destroy the great astral spirit and disperse its energy widely enough to make it difficult to reform.
What will happen to the Maiden once we manage to beat the great astral spirit?
Any matter contained within the field of destruction shall be erased.
So it really will kill me.
This method is the most simple one available to destroy the Great Spirit, and is therefore our most reliable option.
What are our other options?
There is little reason to consider alternative courses of action when the most optimal among them is so clear.
You don't get it. I promised Shion that she wouldn't die, that we'd save the world without needing to sacrifice her. We didn't fight this whole time just to give up on her at the very end. If there's any other way to take out the Great Spirit, I want to hear it.
This plan shall lead to the fewest losses in preserving your world. Abandoning it is irrational. It is vital that you proceed with this plan. A part of Rena's great astral spirit already resides within her. 300 years ago, the Great Spirit descended upon Lenegis in an attempt to assume direct control of the spirit channeling ceremony. We have reason to believe the Great Spirit left part of itself behind, and that it now resides in the Maiden.
Which would make Alphen's earlier hypothesis correct.
That part inside the Maiden belongs to the core, and can be used by the great astral spirit to revive itself. So long as it remains, it will be all but impossible to fully eradicate the Great Spirit. That is why it is necessary for it to be vanquished only once it is whole. Without the Maiden's direct control over the Great Spirit, attacking it is futile and will only serve to strengthen it.
No.
Wait. Naori said that the Renis Alma can suppress the self-realization of astral energy, and that the thorns can be neutralized by placing them in it. If so, can't the same also be done to the Great Spirit, seeing as the thorns are simply part of it?
Well, can it?
It is true that the Renis Alma is capable of what you suggest, and could contain the great astral spirit.
Yes!
However, doing so requires fine control on the level of the spirit channeling ceremony. Considering that the Renis Alma was previously lost when that ceremony failed, I cannot allow it. Its uncertainty is simply too great.
What does that mean for us if you won't allow it?
Your starship will not be restored, and you will all be unable to leave here.
Why you?
Fine then. I'd rather stay here and rot than do it your way.
Alphen?
Whatever we do, if we mess up, Dana's screwed. The Great Spirit will destroy it. If you're fine letting that happen, and we have nothing to gain either way, then I'd rather do nothing. We want to stop Dana from getting destroyed. We want to save it. But not if it means having to sacrifice one of us in the process. If all you're gonna do is sit back and watch us where it's safe, then quit ordering us around and shut up!
Alphen.
What you say is irrational. Be that as it may, I shall accede to your demand.
You'll agree?
I am an observer. The Sovereign, Maiden, and Renis Alma are my species' greatest achievement. I wish to see how well they work against the Great Spirit in light of our demise by its hands.
But what are we supposed to do about the Renis Alma? One of your buddies ran off with it back on Lenegis.
It is likely that the Renis Alma is with the Great Spirit, functioning as a catalyst for it to receive Dana's astral energy.
So our only option to retrieve it is to head straight for the Great Spirit and take it back?
According to my observations, the astral energy is most densely concentrated in the center of Rena, where the Great Spirit's core is located.
So right in the middle of that giant flower, then.
I have one more question. You've said that Rena's great astral spirit is already integrated with the planet. What will happen to Rena once it vanishes?
Without the will of the Great Spirit, Rena is predicted to collapse. Even in such a scenario, the energy will disperse, and the Great Spirit will likely not reform.
So you're saying that even if we manage to beat the Great Spirit without destroying it, we'll still be in danger?
Likely, the collapse will occur in stages. It is recommended that you all escape before the final stage.
Man, I wish that thing would tell it to us straight for once.
Hevrek 35 and the others have gotten used to hypothesizing from afar, is all. Fix our starship. We're going to Rena.
Excellent.
But I want to make one thing clear. We're doing this for ourselves, to protect what matters to us. We're not doing it for your sake, or because you told us to. Remember that.
It matters little to me. The end result shall be the same. Repair work on your starship has commenced. You'll have to wait until it's finished.
Man, is it too much to ask for Hevrek 35 to talk like a normal person? I swear I can feel my brain starting to fry after listening to all that complicated stuff.
Don't worry. I think we're mostly done with him. Now all we have to do is rest up and wait. Once the Fall Knights is good to go again, we'll be taking off for Rena right away. Is the Renis Alma really our only hope against the Great Spirit? There has to be another way, right?
Shion's Fire Master Core was able to suppress astral energy to prevent it from gaining sentience, right? Couldn't we make use of that somehow?
I'm not sure. In small doses, maybe. But with the amount of energy we're talking about here.
Back in Calaglia, the Blazing Sword was able to take in a whole spirit vessel's worth of energy. If it has the capacity to manage that, it can do this, right?
Except after it absorbed the energy, it ended up releasing it all moments later, remember? Let's not forget, it nearly killed you. Besides, this is the Great Spirit we're talking about, not a paltry vessel. Even if I could use the Master Core, your body wouldn't be able to take the strain of channeling that much energy.
Hevrek 35 didn't mention it, and it did not seem the type to skimp on details. So assuming it's even possible, the chances are slim to none.
You're probably right.
You still thinking about what the scientists told us? About where Renans really come from?
I am, but not for myself.
You're worried about the future of the Renan people.
The fact that our people have been the same this whole time will only give the Danans further reason to resent us.
But you still intend to confront this truth head-on, don't you?
Well, I did declare that I would live my life for the living, and not the dead. Even as I dream of retirement, I shall remain dedicated to the cause.
I'm sure you'll do great.
Now that I think about it, I don't believe I've ever heard you criticize or reproach us Renans even once.
I'm no saint. I have skeletons in my closet too. There was definitely a time when I hated Renans for who they were. I hated them just for being Renan. But you changed that, Dohalim. You gave me an opportunity to see them in a different light. Thanks to your reforms, we were able to stand next to Renans not as slaves, but as equals for the first time in our lives. Of course, I'm sure there were some Renans who still hated us on the inside. But we knew that not all of you were like that. There were those of you who were good, and that was a start. When it comes down to it, Renans are just people. They can be good or bad, just like Danans.
That is, in essence, the heart of your approach, isn't it? That we're all people.
Yeah, it is. When you can pull someone aside and talk to them one-on-one, then you have the chance to come to an understanding. But as soon as you stereotype, that chance goes away, and you stop thinking of them as people that you can relate to.
I understand what you're saying, but we're talking about massive numbers of Renans and Danans alike. Realistically speaking, surely they won't all be able to get along.
Even if we end up butting heads with one person, maybe we'll find better luck among their friends. If we can build a society that works like that, that'll be something worth nurturing and protecting.
So you wish for people to form real bonds and do away with the hierarchy outright? To deal with one another as humans, and nothing more? That's the ideal future you hope to see when this is all over?
Yes, I do. I think it would make for a fine tribute to my brother's legacy. Though, that said, I would be doing it for the people of the future first and foremost. Do you still plan to return to Lenegis when this is over?
Indeed I do. I don't know whether I'll be able to reside in Lenegis proper, however. My first order of business may be to find somewhere to live.
You'll always have a home in Menancia, you know.
As I shall ever keep in mind.
Well, if you ever need a helping hand, don't hesitate to come get me. I'll always be there for you, Doe.
Did you just... Never mind. Thank you, Kisara. I appreciate your patience as I work all this out.
Don't even mention it. And really, when you think about it, now that we know the two of us aren't so different after all, don't you think that brings down a barrier that used to be between us?
You know, I hadn't actually thought of it that way before. But I do like the sound of it.
Yeah, I think I do too.
Hey, why'd you call me here? Was there something you wanted to talk about?
Well, if everything we've heard about the Great Spirit is true, then we're getting close to our final battle. So I wanted to apologize while I can.
Apologize? For what?
I was being real stupid before, about whether Dana's will had been controlling us and all that. I get why you're angry now. Anybody would be if something they trusted was being questioned. So, I'm sorry, Rinwell. Really. I should have kept my mouth shut.
No, Law. Honestly, I think you might have been onto something. Of course you were worried. Who wouldn't be if they found out there might be some invisible force pulling our strings this whole time?
But you really trust Dana's will, don't you? Is it because you can sense it a lot more than the rest of us? Because you can understand it?
Yeah, I think that might be part of it. But I think I also want to believe it's good.
Believe?
Remember how I used to really resent coming from a family of mages?
Yeah, of course. Because you were always on the run and had to live in hiding.
When we rescued Zephyr and I finally decided to come along with you all, something changed inside me. It was the first time I felt like my powers had any meaning, even if that meaning was only helping you guys fight. Then, when I felt Dana's will, I was overwhelmed by how vast and warm it was. It made me want to believe my powers were made to connect with it. It made me believe I had a bigger purpose.
So that's why you hope it doesn't turn out to be bad. You almost need it to be kind.
Yeah.
Well, alright. Then I promise I'll lay off bad-mouthing it.
You will?
There's no way for me to know for sure one way or the other, right? But you trust it, Rinwell, and that's enough for me. So I'll trust it because you do.
Remember what I said about neither planet's great spirit reaching us here?
Yeah?
That's not quite true. I can feel just a little bit of Rena's inside you and everyone else.
You... what?
I sensed it when we first got here. It's a really small amount, so it doesn't feel like it has a will of its own. But I think that's how Dana's energy probably is too.
So you're saying there's a little bit of Dana's will inside each of us? In a way, doesn't that mean we're all Dana's will?
What?
Well, like you said, unless Dana's energy comes together, it has no will. So if we all have a little bit of Dana's astral energy inside us...
Yeah, maybe...
Heverick 35 might know the answer. But, you know what? I don't need to ask it. My will is my own. I fight for who I want to fight for. That's who I am now. Who I've become. So thanks, Rinwell, for sharing that with me.
Ah.
To be honest, the only reason I was suspicious of Dana's will, well, I mean, it mostly was... I feel like you and I had grown apart lately, and I was worried it was because...
Huh?
Never mind. Nothing. Just forget about it.
Huh? No, what were you saying?
Saying? I don't remember
Come
saying
on.
anything.
Now you won't tell me what you were
No,
thinking?
that's not what I'm saying.
Then spit it out already.
You sure you don't want to get some rest?
I can't. I've got too much on my mind. Especially knowing how close our last battle is. How are you doing, Xion?
Same as you, still trying to absorb everything.
Remember when it was so simple? We were only fighting all the lords on Dana? All of that feels like a lifetime ago, doesn't it?
Ages and ages ago. Everything that's happened since we first met. So many fights, so much chaos, so many wonderful people.
If I hadn't run into you that day, well, I wouldn't have met all of you. I never would have held the blazing sword or looked for something more. I wouldn't have my memories back. I'd still be a faceless slave, like as not long dead.
Hey, Alphen. I want you to promise me something.
Yeah?
If we can't find the Renis Alma, there's something I want you to do. Like Hevrect 35 said, the only way we can end the Great Spirit for good is to go after both the main body in Rena and the thorns in me. I need you to promise me, Alphen, that if for some reason we can't get the Renis Alma back, you'll use the Blazing Sword to destroy the Great Spirit, and me along with it.
Huh?
It's true the Blazing Sword may not have the strength of the Renis Alma. But it's taken us this far. It's slain lords and beasts. At the very least, it has to be worth a try.
You can't be serious. Have you forgotten everything
Listen,
that we've...
the Great Spirit isn't just our problem. It's a threat to our entire world. Renans and Dahnans alike. We don't know what's going to happen when we face it, but we need to be prepared for anything. We can't second-guess ourselves when the time comes. I promise you, I'm not planning on going anywhere. I'm prepared to fight with absolutely everything I've got. But if it comes down to it, I need you to be prepared too.
Okay. But you should know that I'm not going to give up on you, Shionne. I'm going to fight this until the very end. I hope you can forgive me for that.
Alphen. Okay, I understand. And I'll forgive you.
Thank you, Shionne.
So it's a promise then?
Yeah, it's a promise.
I remember how I felt the first time you touched me. My thorns made any contact a mistake no one would ever make twice. After they'd seen what could happen, fear would always linger behind their eyes. In my entire life, I never had someone willingly reach out to me. But when you reached out to me and gently took my hand, you didn't react at all. It was so easy for you. I don't have words for the shock I felt in that moment.
That's because I couldn't feel pain back then.
Even once you could, though, you still chose to keep reaching out to me. And when you did, I felt this warmth that I had never known before. But still, I hate having to see you suffer through it every time you do.
You won't have to worry about that for much longer.
You think so?
I do, because Shionne,
No. You can tell me once my thorns are gone. Okay?
Yeah. Okay. Everybody get enough rest? We ready for this?
Yeah, we should probably get moving.
Agreed. Can't stand around waiting all day.
Our task is relatively straightforward. We need only descend down to Rena, defeat the Great Spirit, and restore stability to both worlds.
We're fighting for a new future for both Dana and Rena.
Right. We've come this far. We will save our worlds. That's a promise.
Then let's go, everybody. We've got one last wall to tear down.
Repairs on your starship are complete. Everything is in working order.
Is that you, Hevrek 35? You can see us from where you are?
I can. I can see anywhere within the bounds of Dake Faisal.
Sounds like someone's a peeping Tom.
Maybe we should give Hevrekt 35 a break. It has been stuck in this tiny facility for a very, very long time.
I have unlocked all functions on your starship. You can now make use of its warp drive.
Warp drive? Wait, you mean like what the Red Women used on us? What brought us here?
It's possible that the Red Women may have found a way to activate it on the starship. They are Helganquil, after all.
Using the warp drive, you should be able to breach Rena's atmosphere without being detected.
Wait, should?
You'll need to be careful. Due to the force field surrounding Rena, the ship will be unable to go any further than the surface of the planet.
So, once we reach the shell, it appears we'll have to infiltrate the core by foot. Understood.
We gotta go all the way down just walking?
Will all the Helganquil go back to normal once we defeat the Great Spirit? I have a strange feeling we're going to have to fight them before this is all over.
The extinction of my people is inevitable at this stage. As such, it would be illogical to risk the success of the mission in a vain attempt to save my kind.
We understand.
Can't that thing lighten up a bit? Everything it says seems to be about what's illogical.
Well, come on, Doe.
Hold up, did you just...
You heard the lady. Get going.
I have one last question.
What?
As Sovereign, your identification number indicates that you are well past your predicted life expectancy. Similarly, the Maiden lacks any identification number, as her function should have been rendered unnecessary. Despite this, the two of you continue to exist. Why?
We exist because others have entrusted this to us. Over the years, many people have come together and sworn to see this through to the end.
You mean it is because of multiple chance interactions? The likelihood of such events is statistically improbable. Why have you two continued to persist under these conditions?
It's hard to explain. To be honest, I don't think it's something an observer could understand. All right, time to get back on the Fall Knights.
It would appear that our Helganquil host really has fulfilled its end of the bargain.
You know what that means. Time to go to Rena.
I guess this means we should give that warp drive a spin.
There's nothing here. This weird ocean we're surrounded by just stretches out everywhere. Is this really where the Helganquil come from?
I don't sense even a trace of astral energy. This world is dead.
Then this must be the Hollowing.
You mean to tell me this whole world, the entire ocean is that stuff?
And it's covering everything. The entire planet.
This is what the Great Spirit does. After it depleted this planet of every last speck of astral energy, it went after Dana.
So arresting. This world of doom.
Back in its day, Rena was probably just as vibrant as Dana is. But after being robbed of its astral energy for so long, those days are gone and past. This is all that will remain.
So the Great Spirit took everything. It stole energy not just from living beings, but the land, the sea, everything.
And it bound the Helganquil in servitude, until their whole world was nothing but this. And by the looks of it, that's how it remains to this day. A world of death and emptiness.
With nothing left here to consume, the Great Spirit turned its sights on Dana, looking for another host.
You're saying if we don't stop it, this is what Dana's going to look like?
We can be sure that even these few remaining remnants of Renan life will not be spared in the end.
If the oblivion and darkness both Shion and Naori saw comes to pass, nothing will survive. It looks like we can climb down from there. Let's take a look.
So this is Rena. This is where everything began. Yet it's a dead world?
I won't let Dana suffer the same fate. Ever.
A hollowed ocean as far as the eye can see. What do you think would happen if we fell in?
What do you mean, what would happen? You'd drown, wouldn't you?
Come to think of it, I don't believe I've heard of someone ever trying. Perhaps you'd like the glory of being the first?
Nah, I'll pass.
This is essentially a world-sized Renan graveyard. Are you proposing to disturb the dead slumber just to satisfy your curiosity, Law?
No, because I said I passed.
Taking an interest is understandable, but let's not forget where we are. This place deserves our respect.
Looks like we're not going to be hearing the end of this one for a while.
You'd think I was already snorkeling in it or something. So the idea is to seal the Great Spirit inside the Renas Alma using the Sovereign and Maiden's power. But just how do we do that exactly?
I'm guessing it won't be as easy as holding a spirit channeling ceremony at our leisure.
I already had wielded astral energy once 3 centuries ago. As for suppressing her thorns, Shion's had a lifetime's experience. The problem isn't just our enemy's strength. It's that it's sentient, too. And you can bet anything you like it's not going to just sit back and let us destroy it.
In other words, we need to find some way to weaken it in advance. The Great Spirit, that is.
Back when Shion's thorns flew out of control, we were able to deal with them directly. If this is their host, they should be even more corporeal here.
If that's the case, it should make them easier to attack at least. And if we can manage to divert enough energy away from the spirit's core, even temporarily,
we might just be able to weaken it enough to steal the Renis Alma, which we can then use to seal it away forever. It won't be easy, but it's our only shot. Time to buckle up. Question for you. Let's say, knock on wood, everything turns out for the best.
What'll the world be like? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of this, do you really think everything will be that different?
A lot will have to change, that's for sure. The world will have to adjust to so much. My only worry is if those changes turn out to be merely skin deep.
what do you mean?
It's well and good putting an end to Renan rule. But if it just turns the tables, it's all for naught.
That's true. Just as bad if the Danans started pressing their own.
Renans, Danans, astral art users, mages. The world is full of labels used to divide and separate people.
If only we could see differences like that for what they are. No different to someone having a musical talent or being good with their hands. Not differences so much as characteristics.
It will take someone in power to set an example. But with time, people will follow. And then, perhaps one day...
There will no longer be any need for the example. It will have become second nature.
That's where we come in. We can set the example. Imagine it. A world where magic and astral arts are used to help people. Where that's the norm rather than the exception.
Yeah, you're right, Rinwell. Why wait for somebody else? We can show them ourselves.
Looks like we've warped into that pit of astral energy.
I wonder what Helganquil civilization was like at its zenith.
I can imagine that'd be something you'd take an interest in.
There's no question it must have been advanced, like none either world has ever seen. We could surely stand to learn a thing or two from such a people.
I get that you're itching to delve into its history, but we've got bigger fish to fry right now.
Put a pin in it, and you can do all the research you want when you retire.
I can think of worse things than a retirement dedicated to research. As for whether Rena is amenable to an aging specimen...
It's a little early to be giving it serious thought just yet.
A man can dream, though. A man can dream.
Oh, we didn't say there's anything wrong with dreaming.
In your case, Dohalim, Dreams have a habit of spiraling into something else.
You'll need to stay with us for now, though. You're too helpful to let retire.
Why do I feel this is less of a compliment and more of an ultimatum?
Just a friendly suggestion.
Hey! Hey, I just realized something!
Is this about dinner last night? I didn't realize those ingredients were off.
What? No! I mean, wait, you fed us rotten food?
Rinwell, the point.
Oh, yeah, right. So I was thinking about those armored soldiers we've seen. There are regular Renans inside them, right?
Yeah, they're designed to make whoever's wearing them stronger. At least, I think that's the idea.
Right. So it kind of begs the question then, why are they made so huge?
I don't know, makes them more intimidating, I guess? Or maybe all that tech wizardry inside takes up a lot of space.
You don't think it's weird how the armored soldiers are the exact same height as the Helganquil?
Can't say I'd ever noticed it till now. And?
Connect the dots, Law!
Okay, let me get this straight. You think the armored suits might have originally been designed to allow Renans to work alongside the Helganquil?
Huh. But if that's true, what would that mean?
It would mean... just that, I guess. But still, don't you think it's kind of interesting?
Not hugely. Hey, Kisara, well, I've got you. What's on tonight's menu? Because I was thinking, maybe meat?
Get him, Hootle.
What did I do?
Oh, now you want to listen. Keep pecking, Hootle!
Ow! Seriously, what the hell? You know, guys, when you think about it, we've taken out a lot of Zeugles. Like, a whole lot.
You can say that again. If one thing's for certain in this world, it's that wherever we go, we'll always end up bumping into them.
Isn't it weird that they're still so plentiful? You don't think the Renans have, like, a ranch where they breed them, do you?
Certainly in all of my years, I've never heard of them constructing such a massive facility on Dana, let alone up in Lenegis.
The only thing I can think of, then, is that the feral ones must be reproducing on their own.
There's also no organized effort on our part to hunt them down, so it's difficult to fully exterminate them.
Exterminate them? Whoa, don't you think that's maybe a little harsh?
What do you mean?
Zeugles originally used to be living creatures native to Dana and Rena, right? Being genetically modified isn't their fault.
You're right. Zeugles were only created because of us Renans. We altered the original creatures to suit our own ends.
First, people made Zeugles, and then we let them go. And now we're trying to kill them because they're a threat. They really have only seen the very worst, huh?
I hope we find a way to be able to live side by side with them one day.
It's a nice thought, but they attack towns and cities. What else are we supposed to do?
Aside from the strays that have gone wild, it's worth remembering that Renans are able to keep them somewhat under control.
If we had distinct territories that didn't overlap, that might reduce the danger they pose.
Well, I guess when you look at it that way, maybe people and Zeugles aren't so different after all.
Helganquil!
Guess they don't need their Red Woman disguises anymore.
Wait, can you understand us?
It's no use. We're not going to get through to them.
So they really are being controlled. In that case, we've got no choice.
I knew there was something off here.
They're not pulling punches. We have no choice but to beat them at their own game.
Dragon! I'm ready!
A freezing storm! Our sealed! Confiscated!
No escape!
No!
Can't end here!
Don't leave me! I'll bring you back from death's abyss!
Take this!
They're surrounding us! Dragon
The enemy wields arc too.
You'll soon see about that! I'll bring you back from death!
It's time to finish this! Die! Consuming wildfire!
I'm going to need to use all the power of my healing.
The flame inside
Here goes! Demons descend! Flashing fang!
Easy! Way to go!
Hurricane thrust!
Dance in the wind! A whirling struggle! Winds of heaven!
You made quick work of them.
Want me to pick up your slack then?
Damn it, just pointing it out.
As impressive as always.
Here I hope you listen through.
No, I mean, you're even...
It's time to finish this! Die! Consuming wildfire!
Dark
Let the marksman handle this!
I can carve through
Not
armor.
done! You picked the wrong fight! Swallow blade! Severing wind!
Swallow dance!
Rip and tear.
May a thousand gales tear you to shreds! Here's a hero you are in!
No further! As soon as I'm done here, come help out.
Here, could a girl ever say no? Illuminate the dark!
Sword Rain Alpha!
Holy glimmer! Holy light!
Dragon Swarm!
Breathe between hundreds, that'll bring you down! A wailing banshee of lightning! Water, hear my call!
Do it!
Alphen,
I can't forgive them for what they've done, but I hate killing them. They don't even know why they're fighting. How does that even make them any different from the Danan slaves?
Perhaps. However, if we don't make a choice, the guilt of not doing anything will be that much worse.
Yeah, I know. I hate for it to be like this. But if it happens again, you won't find me hesitating to act.
I wonder if we're going to get attacked again.
If we lose heart now, this whole mission is over. We have to stay the course.
I thought there'd be more dirt and rocks and stuff underneath the hollowed ocean, but it's all artificial.
I would imagine they're remnants left behind by the Helganquil, seeing as there's little actual land remaining.
It's incredible. Do you think it stretches all the way down to the center of the planet?
Hey, these guys built Lenegis, remember? He probably did this in a weekend.
If they had the power to create things like this, did they really only use those immense capabilities to serve the Great Spirit? Or rather, was that the only use the Great Spirit let them use their capabilities for? We haven't seen anyone here except Helganquil. Looks like this place really is their home planet.
The true citizens of Rena. What a shame that they have become nothing more than puppets to the Great Spirit. To think of the promise their accomplishments once held. They had the potential to be great indeed.
Do you think we could have got along with them? You know, if we had met under different circumstances. Like
all of us, you mean? I suppose it's difficult to say for sure. We don't even know if they would see us as being on an equal level with them or not.
I think we may have had the chance once, before the Renan Great Spirit came along and changed everything.
You and Alphen both share an optimism. A strong willingness to believe in hope.
Do you think that's foolish?
On the contrary, I should like to take a leaf from your book myself. In Tragedy's Aftermath, hope is all we have.
Just look at the size of that thing. The Helganquil's technology certainly is impressive. And they don't seem to do things by halves either. In the past 300 years. No, even before that. Just how many people, Renan or Danan, do you think have ever seen this?
regarding the past 3 centuries at least, I'd say there's a good chance that we're the first. Also, while I get that it's impressive and all, I'm just amazed you're still standing around gawping at it at a time like this. Sometimes I wonder about your priorities.
I can understand where he's coming from. More to the point, does anyone know where it leads?
What do you mean where it leads? To the center of the planet, of course.
And that doesn't strike you as sounding just a little bit, oh, I don't know, far? There has to be a quicker way to get there, right?
Yeah. With all this technology at their fingertips, it seems pretty unlikely that they'd make that kind of journey on foot. There must be some kind of device somewhere. Let's see if we can figure out how to use it.
Borrow one of their contraptions? You're either brave or out of your mind.
If it works for them, there's no reason it wouldn't for us. Why make things harder for ourselves?
You know what he's like, Law. Once he gets an idea in his head, there's no talking him out of it.
I've got a really bad feeling about this.
I owe you one.
First strike! Talon Storm!
Fall into thy... These ones can run around us.
Here I come! Talon Storm! Double Demon Fang!
It's Lancer! Radiant Storm! Select Art Expert, come through!
Double Demon Fang!
Here, let me help.
Burn!
Photon Blast!
Damn it!
Time for one
Too
more.
fast!
Stand back. I'll trip it up.
Infernal Torrent!
Is this it?
Don't give up!
I'm on it!
Freeze Lancer! Dance in the wind!
Armor won't save
Air
you!
Thrust! Mega Ray!
Eat this!
Talon Storm! A chain between heaven and earth!
Far enough! Dark
A wailing Banshee of Lightning! Here's a healing
Storm!
Divine Birthday! Dance in the
Take
wind!
this!
Arc Fire complete!
Dragon Swarm!
Dragon Down! Illuminated
Hurricane! Searing Gale!
Holy Land! A chain
Take
between
this!
heaven and earth! Bring you down! A wailing
Take
Banshee
this!
of Lightning!
Slash! Dragon Swarm!
See
Swirling Doubling! In an instant! Impact Cross! Not a chance! Lunar Rogo!
Beyond the darkest
Rip it
star!
fire!
Again!
Focus!
Eagle Assault!
Take this!
Radiant
Swirling Alpha!
I can do this all
Slash!
day!
Dragon Swarm!
Can't get out of this!
I'll stop your movement!
And I'll stop your life!
I feel stronger. I mean... I wonder how the Renans avoided being mind-controlled like the Helganquil. Do you think it might have something to do with the fact that they were originally Danans?
I'd say it's likely, which is pretty ironic when you think about it.
Ironic?
The Renans have committed grave injustices against the Danans. But it was all of their own volition, not because they were being controlled. Now, it turns out they themselves were once Danans too.
Which must mean that the root of their evil isn't the Great Spirit, but something inherent in all of us. Our free will.
Now hang on, though. It was that same free will that allowed Xion and Dohalim to choose to fight alongside us. Without it, we wouldn't have been able to beat hatred and forge all those connections we've made. Free will is what saved us, right?
Law's entirely right. In any case, it certainly can't hurt to look on the bright side every now and then.
Yeah. Where there's hope, there's a way.
What'd he say?
He said, without a doubt.
Is this a dead end?
It appears this whole room functions as an elevator. That apparatus there is likely what's used to control it.
What the? Where did they come from?
Less worry, more action. Concentrate.
Confiscated!
Hey, did you hear it? Now you see
I'm
what
not
I
so
can
good
do.
with airborne targets.
Dragon Force!
Come one, come up! It got fired!
I've got this! Let a marksman handle it!
We got the advantage.
Oh, you're good.
Watch it.
We just have to make sure we keep it.
Don't worry, cause Raw's
I'm
on
going
it.
to need to use all the power of my healing arts to
Now or never.
fall into
Oh, that's
thy
you.
own resurrection!
I owe you one.
Concentration!
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
Burn!
Mega ray! I never miss!
Blade!
Xion! Go for it!
Prepare to crumble!
Here I go!
More Sukos?
Keep calm and take them down! May a thousand gales tear you to shreds!
I'm just getting started! Can't get out of this! Do it!
I'll stop your movement!
And I'll stop your life!
I'm going to use all the power of my healing arts! I never miss! Let the marksman handle this! Astral energy! Full throttle! Go! A flawless victory! Now this one's mine!
Do it! Death Blossom!
Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade! Not a
More
chance!
incoming!
I'm on you!
You picked the wrong fight!
Come and get it!
Illuminate!
Shattering dust! Pieces!
Holy
Luna
crystal!
Road!
Holy
Luna
land!
Road! Demons descend! Flashing fang!
Enemies incoming!
Here I come! Then we'll take them down!
Here goes! Lightning raging cascade! Resurrection!
Sword Lane Alpha!
Freezing storm!
More?
A whirling dancing lightning! Ice tornado!
Eagle assault!
A whirling confiscated!
The flame inside me
Eagle
yearns
side!
to be let free!
Do it! Dohalim! Hey! Blow them away!
Slash more! Luna Rongo! Rising Falcon!
Do it! Frozen!
Hammer!
More? You're mine!
Far enough! Searing Gale! Swallow Blade!
Whirling struggle! Water! Wings of heaven! First force!
No further!
Here's Evo! Cyclone!
Here I come! Swallow Blade!
Dragon Shell!
Blast the
In the
stuff!
sky is
More?
mine!
Armor won't save you!
I never miss!
These fists have got your name on them!
This one's mine!
Do it! You're done!
Xion! Astral energy! Full throttle! Go!
You're wide open! Talon Storm!
A chain between heaven and earth!
Steel! Dragon Storm!
Freezing storm!
Face Flash!
Ice tornado!
Luna Rongo!
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
Reinforcements?
Here I come!
Big waterfall! Freeze!
Luna Rongo! Rising Falcon!
Now!
More?
This one's mine! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
There you go, Alphen!
It's time to end this battle!
I'm right beside you!
Ready to go!
Captain Wall!
Explosive ring! More?
It's time! Here's Evo! Now!
Eagle Fly!
Astral energy!
Say no more!
Here's
Not
the
a
healing
chance.
arts! That'll bring you down.
As impressive as
In a
always.
bind?
Here I hope there isn't.
No, I mean, you're even better than ever. Astral energy! Full throttle!
Not a chance.
Fly beyond darkest sky!
Rising Falcon!
Enough!
Take this!
Now you see what I can do!
I never miss!
First strike! It's over!
Talon Hurricane!
Sword Rain
Do
Alpha!
Excited! Astral energy! Full throttle!
Now, you're mine! Rising...
Mega Ray!
Snap!
Infernal Torrent!
Gemini Aqua!
Well, am I improving?
Tremendously. The speed and precision of your aim is simply unmatched.
I had no idea you were watching me so closely.
Even in such a harsh environment as this, there are still creatures here?
You think they're native to Rena? Or could they be Zeugles somehow?
Whatever they are, they're dangerous. Watch yourselves around them.
You think that pit stretches all the way to Rena's core?
If that's true, and if we go down, we should find the Great Spirit at the bottom.
We could get there even faster if we simply jump down instead.
You sound alarmingly serious when you say that.
Brace yourself! This one's tough!
I'm like bait to them!
Let loose!
Glimmer Dragon!
Ignite!
Power of my healing arts to accomplish this.
Take this!
I'm on a roll
These
now!
things really
I
get
got
out
my
of here
hero.
forever.
Eagle Assault! Flying free! Why
Mind
can't
if
they
I
just
do?
sit still?
Sia, can you take care of them?
No sooner said than done.
Here! Take this!
These fists have got your name on them!
Go!
I'll run you through!
Rising Wyvern! Lunarongo! Soaring Light Spear!
Talon Storm! Take this! Do it!
Incineration Wave! Look sharp!
Lightning Tiger Blade! See that?
That training's paying off! Rising Falcon!
Damn it!
First strike! Bang Blast! I'll crush you! Lightning Reflexes! Tenebrous Claw!
Lightning condemned!
Swallow Blade! The flame inside me yearns to be let free! Swallow Blade! Plasma Shock!
I'm on a roll now!
Hurricane Thrust!
Purge Malevolence! This one's mine!
You're mine! Mirage!
None shall escape my judgment!
Sword Rain Alpha!
Air thrust!
Huh? Boom!
I'll stop your movement!
And I'll stop your life!
A whirling
turn.
freezing storm!
In a bind?
Winds of heaven! First
Lunarongo! Soaring Light Spear!
Kisara! I'll stop your movement!
And I'll stop your life!
Here goes!
Take this! Lunarongo!
Not on my watch!
Rising Falcon! Sword Rain Alpha!
Kisara! I'll stop your movement!
And I'll stop your life!
Not yet!
Deeply dark! I
Lunarongo!
never miss!
Lunarongo!
Swallow
The
dance!
flame inside me
Do it!
yearns to be
Divine
let free!
Astral energy! Full throttle!
Am I on a roll or what?
Well, look who's in a... bright and shiny mood.
This won't be easy.
Don't be such a pessimist! Here's a healing arc!
Swallow Blade!
go! Lightning If it's in the sky, it would mean heaven and earth. Ray!
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
You're mine!
Leave the ensnaring to me. Yeah! And the pummeling to me! Eat this! We got the advantage.
Good. Just have to make sure we keep it.
Don't worry, because law's on.
Astral energy! Full throttle! A flawless victory. Naturally.
First strike! My turn! Swallow blade!
Denied!
Eat dirt!
Dance in the wind!
Swallow blade!
Reload!
Sword rain
Let's get
alpha!
you all tucked away.
Remember to tell me if you need healing.
I expect you'll be in high demand if that's the case.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Sword rain alpha!
Not my watch!
Can't move!
Don't leave me! Two heads? Radiant Cyber Bear! Flame! Back into the...
It's time to finish this! Die! Consuming wildfire!
Damn it!
You got company!
One more.
Azure Storm!
Prepare to be seized. Actually, perhaps crowned is more appropriate.
Less talking, more doing. A whirling circle.
Dragon Swarm!
In a bind? Watch this!
Healing circle.
I may have bit off more than I
I
could
don't
chew.
know what I'd do without
Perhaps now isn't the time?
you. I really don't.
Glacial spear.
Rising Wyvern!
It's time to finish this! Die! Consuming wildfire!
This is bad, right?
This has got your name on 'em!
Very bad.
I don't feel so good.
I'll smash you!
Freeze blast.
You're mine!
Where are you going?
I could do without this pain.
Take this!
I'm going to hold on to your arm. Here I come.
Let me help.
Glacial spear. Here comes.
You're mine!
Not in your dreams.
Here, let me
Take
help.
this!
Here to throw!
Far beyond
Dragon
the dark
Swarm!
healing art. I call upon aid.
Throbbed in pain.
Talon Hurricane! Megasonic Run!
Get toasty!
Burn strike!
Right. Next
Ready
one.
to go!
I'm on it! Already on it!
Lightning orb. A freezing
Storm!
catching.
I'll smash you!
Slash!
Field.
Watch this!
Megasonic Thrust!
Here I go, primed and ready!
Eagle assault!
It's time to finish this! Die! Consuming wildfire!
Will this help?
Not today!
Healing
I
lightning
never
orb.
miss!
You're mine! Sword rain alpha!
Tear 'em up!
Dragon Swarm!
Eagle assault! Now or never.
Can't.
Get out of this!
You'll pay for that!
Will this help?
Slash!
Here's the healing art.
Dragon Swarm! Slash!
Bring you back from death. I'll bring you back from
Let
death.
you all down.
You're mine!
Hesitation.
Dragon Swarm! Try harder!
That's gonna
Not a
smart.
chance.
Glacial
Slash!
spear.
Dragon
Here's evil.
Swarm!
Freeze blast.
blade! First strike!
Here, let me
Prepare
help.
to
Standing
deal.
for.
Take this!
Steel force.
I'm not done!
Where are you going?
Swallow blade!
I'm on a roll now.
Megasonic thrust!
Chain between heaven and earth.
Tear!
A wailing banshee of lightning.
Lunarongo!
Divine. None shall escape my
Take this!
Steel, not in your dreams.
Here I come! Now I'm in the... I can carve through
May
armor!
a thousand
The flame
gales
inside
carry you
me
to
yearns
strength.
to be let free!
Here I go.
Swallow blade! Talon
Here I go.
Eagle!
It's time to finish this. Die! Consuming wildfire. Will this help?
Do you require a hand?
Not today!
Illuminate the
Swallow blade!
Holy glimmer! Back into the fray!
Here!
Do it!
Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
My concentration is dwindling. Perhaps I'm tired. My word, this must be the work of Providence.
Prava what now?
It means destiny. I think it's a bit of an exaggeration, though. a really bad feeling about this. Freezing
Try harder! Not a chance!
Now I'm real mad!
Sword Rain Alpha!
Ice tornado! I think I'll pass on the handshake.
Rising Alpha! Stardust!
Raging storm!
I'll crush you! Ah! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
Will this help? Here goes!
What's this?
Healing circle! This one's mine!
I really owe you one.
Thanks, Triana.
Be careful not to overdo it.
I'm sorry. I'll do better.
Don't mind if I do.
Ignite!
Anything in armor is all mine!
I'm not done! Dragon Swarm!
Eat this!
Try this!
I'll finish you here and now!
Rising shot!
No further!
Photon!
Oh!
Karos!
Now I'm real mad! Eat this!
Stay away from my friends!
I can't heal you.
I'll crush you! Ah! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
I'll bring you back from death's abyss.
Lunar Rondo!
Resuscitation!
Rising! Take this!
I still got your fight left in me.
I'm not done!
Here, let me help. All disasters made one.
There you go! Feel like me again!
Double Phoenix Bang!
Nail shot!
I'll crush you! Ah! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
Here I come! It's
Where are you going?
Sword Rain Alpha!
Chinese supernova!
I'm not done!
There you go!
Now
Now
in the blue! All good things come to an end!
Burn!
Into the shadow!
Lunar Rondo! You're on!
No further! It's no fun!
Magic
Armor won't save you!
Swallow Blade!
Mega ray! Freeze! Here
Outstanding
goes!
form!
I'm out of ammo! Not on my watch!
You're mine!
Back
Sword
into the
Rain
fray!
Alpha!
Illuminate the dark!
Here I come!
Cyanid!
If it's in the
Holy
sky,
light!
it's
Mine! Chain between
It's
now!
over! Remove!
Astral energy!
Say no more.
Remember to tell me if you need healing.
I expect you'll be in high demand if that's the case. These structures don't look like anything built by the Renans, or even what we saw in the Forbidden Zone.
Perhaps this is the true architectural style of the Helganquil. Or perhaps the opposite, given their situation.
You mean like how some places favor building stuff with stone, while others rely on wood?
That's an interesting way of looking at it. I'll have to inquire with Hevrecht 35 about it sometime.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Burn in hell!
Do this all day?
Here, let me help! First aid!
That buzzing is driving me mad.
I'm going to need to use all the
Pesky airborne
power
scoundrel.
Sounds like a job for yours truly!
In a bind?
Holy Lance! Chain between heaven and earth!
Dragon
Wailing Bandit! Astral energy!
Say no more.
Well done!
Lunar Rondo!
Banquet darkness!
Soaring
I
Light
can't hold on much longer! Do it!
Why'd you human?
This one's got your name on it!
Ashes to ashes!
Lightning again! Pierce evil!
Lunar Rondo!
Thunderblast!
Now in the blue!
Dragon
Eagle
Swarm!
Fly!
Here goes!
These
Here's a
fists
healing
have
arm.
got your name on them!
The earth throbs in pain.
Slash you!
I owe you one.
Confiscated!
Slash! Burn!
Let the marksman handle
Talon
this!
Storm!
I'm out of ammo!
I'll crush you! Ah! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
Here's a healing arm!
Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclops! Check out these biceps. Pretty glorious, right?
Why are guys so obsessed with their muscles?
Because these puppies have yet to let me down.
about
Someone
this.
come
I
on.
can't heal you forever.
Take this! Hurricane!
That'll bring you down.
Take this!
Radiant dance in the wind.
I'm not done!
In here.
Try this!
Oh, let's go, Andy.
Sword Lane Alpha!
I can do this all day.
Hurricane! Dragon Force!
Supernova.
I'm not doing that!
Raging Cascade.
I'll burn it all! Flaming Pillar! Fire!
Here's a healing arc.
Now! Here I
Raging
come!
Cascade.
You picked the wrong fight! Swallow Blade! Dragon Force!
Now.
Risen Terror!
Astral energy.
Say no more. I think I'm getting stronger.
Oh yeah? Think you could beat me at arm wrestling?
When have I not beaten you?
Right. I'll just go on ahead then.
Those thorns.
I'm not letting them get in our way!
This might... be some decent equipment.
Anything that makes battles easier is okay by me.
I've got a really bad feeling about this.
You're mine! Swallow Blade! Sword Lane Alpha! Time for one more!
Arrow Storm! I can't hold on much longer!
Eagle Assault! I'm just getting started!
Don't mind if I do!
Primed and ready! I can carve through armor!
Beyond
Strike!
the darkest sky!
Sword Lane Alpha! This one's all mine! Denied! These fists have got your name on them! Eat this!
Raging Cascade!
Take this! Talon Storm!
Now I'm in trouble.
I'll crush you! Lightning Reflexes! Tenebrous Claw! Inspiration!
I could do this all day.
That frickin' does it!
Dance in the wind! Ray! Sleep now!
Inspiration!
Go all tucked
Time
away.
for one more. There!
Radiant
I'm on it! Strike! Try harder! You're done!
Illuminate
Bang,
the
bang, bang.
dark!
I'll crush you! Lightning Reflexes! Tenebrous Claw! You're mine!
Render!
This should do it!
I thought you were down.
Pay for that!
Will this help?
Crescent Take this! First! Sword Lane Alpha!
Thank you for all your help.
Can't get out of this!
I'm glad you know someone
What is going on?
Fall back, Alphen. We'll take point here.
Thanks.
Everyone, get back! It's too dangerous! Not in your dreams! That'll bring you down! All disasters made one! Come! Ready?
Fantastic. Now my clothes are ruined.
You're mine! Swallow Blade!
Raging
Sword Lane Alpha!
And just like that, I'm back in it.
By holding the front line!
No sooner said than done.
Time to let it rip! Swallow blade! Don't pay for this!
Let me help.
Mega Fist was all mine!
Tiger Blade! A whirling struggle. Time to shine.
I'll burn it all! Flaming pillar! Fire!
I'm going to need to use
gonna
all
need
the
more
power
of
of
that.
my healing arts to accomplish
Take
this.
One for that. Burn in hell! Dragon Storm!
Here the sky is mine.
Order won't save you!
This one's mine.
Dragon Storm!
I'm illuminate the dark now.
Let's go!
This ends now.
Consider yourself finished. That's some power you wield.
You're the one who did the heavy lifting.
I've got a really bad feeling about this. Freezing storm.
Here I go! Dragon! Sword Rain Alpha! Last Dragon Dome!
Insects should stay on the
I'll
ground.
take you all on! You're on! This one's all mine! Line free! They just sit still!
Xion, can you take care of them?
No sooner said than done.
Now I'm in trouble. Can't get out of this. Oh! Now I'm mad.
Dazzle!
Illuminate the dark.
Holy
glimmer, holy lamp. A chain between heaven and earth.
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
I'm
on
waves of heaven.
Stand back. I'll trip it up.
Where are you going?
I'll finish you here and now!
Not today!
Hurricane!
Sword Rain Alpha!
Do it! Astral energy!
Say no more.
Well done.
Lunar Rongo! I'm on it!
Varna!
Megasonic Thrust! Dragon Swarm!
Can't get out of this!
Here's evil.
Take this!
Evil! Get toasty!
Burn strike!
Not a chance!
Lightning!
Eat this! Soaring Light
Heaven and
Spear!
earth.
Not a flame
Away
inside
with
me!
the
Yours to
lightning.
be let free!
Arch shield!
Take
Down
it
on
out!
my watch!
That's enough!
Now!
Still!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished.
Am I on a roll or what?
Well, look who's in a... Bright and shiny mood.
Oh man, I hope I live long enough to regret this. Eat this!
Okay,
Big
here I
blast!
go.
Double Demon Fang!
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw! Inspiration!
Slice!
I could do this all
Sword
day.
Rain Alpha!
I'm not my finest.
Thanks! Stay away from my friends!
Prepare to be sealed, oh fleet of foot. Actually, perhaps bound is more appropriate.
Less talking, more doing.
I have no limits! Sword Rain Alpha! This one's all mine! Dragon Swarm!
I'm going to need to use all the power of my healing.
I'll burn it all! Flaming Pillar! Fire! Now I'm in the
Why'd you
groove.
heal me?
To stop you dying?
Here I come!
All good things come to an end.
Dragon Form! Eat that!
Plasma shock!
I can't heal you forever!
The flame inside me yearns to be let free!
Freezing storm!
Dragon Form!
Hurricane!
Plasma shock! I'll burn it all! Flaming pillar! Fire! Burn!
I'll
finish you
here
good.
now! That'll bring you down!
Now I'm in trouble. I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
Remember to tell me if you need healing.
I expect you'll be in high demand if that's the case.
I've got a really bad feeling about this. You got company.
Time for one more. Now you see what I can do.
Photon illuminate the
No escape!
Come forth, holy glimmer! Holy lamp! Chain between heaven and
No!
earth.
Can't end here!
Eat me! I'll bring you back from death's abyss.
I'm on it.
Resuscitation!
Now I'm in the groove.
Not done
I
yet!
need supernova!
There you go. You like me again. I can do this.
It's time to finish this! Die! Consuming wildfire! Eat
mine!
Illuminate the I never miss!
Do it! Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone! Here's a healing chain between heaven and earth! First aid!
Rising Falcon! Swallow the flame inside me yearns to be let free!
Quiver Blade!
You're mine! Sword Rain Alpha!
Eat this! Heaven and earth!
That's enough.
Tear! Any more of this and I'll burn out! Lunar Rondo!
These fists have got your name on them.
Reload! I'm out of ammo!
Watch this.
Sleep now!
I'll finish this!
More for the stop! Art steel!
Eat this.
May a thousand gales
Blade,
tear you to
strike,
shreds!
strike.
Fear! Fear hell!
I'll crush you. Lightning reflexes. Tenebrous claw.
Glacial spear! Pierce evil!
Rip and tear.
Illuminate! Come forth! Holy glimmer!
I won't be able to heal you for much longer.
Maybe we should head back?
This'll make us even more formidable.
This one's tough. But we have no choice.
Let me know if you need healing.
Now you see what I can do to be let free.
Raging Cascade!
In a
As if the
bind.
normal creepy crawlies aren't disgusting enough.
Nothing gets by me!
Winds of Heaven! First blood!
Where are you going?
Let's get it started.
Dragon Swarm!
Let's tear him up.
Heal!
Try harder!
I'll be saving this one! Healing Sword! Raging Cascade!
Mirage!
One more time!
Charge like that can easily be fatal.
Just as well, I'm here to stop.
Winds of Heaven!
Dragon Swarm! Finish you here and now.
Amazing.
In here!
No further.
Ready! Super
You're dead.
Ignite!
Hurricane!
Eagle Fly. Now in the clearing game.
There you go! Don't let up!
I'll smash you.
Swallow Blade! That'll bring you down!
This is looking
Here's
good.
a healing arc!
Hurricane
First
thrust!
aid!
These fists have got your name on them.
Here's another raging cascade! Damn it! I can handle it!
Go away. I'll crush you. Lightning reflexes. Tenebrous claw.
Will this help?
You're mine!
Far enough. Eat that. Sword up. There you go. I'm sorry to be a bother.
We've all got enough on our plate.
Yes, ma'am.
Burn! Dragon Swarm!
Can't get out of this.
I'm all caught up!
Sword Rain Alpha!
A chain between heaven and earth! Lightning! A wailing banshee of lightning!
Try harder!
Here's a
Swallow
healing
Blade!
arc!
Sword Rain Alpha!
Anything in armor is all mine.
Here!
Air thrust!
Swallow dance.
Dragon Swarm!
Now!
Swimmer!
Astral energy!
Say no more! Hey, I'm pretty lucky.
That enemy looks strong. I bet it'll be worth our while to fight it. I have a bad feeling about this.
I'll smash you.
I'll take you all off!
I'm on it.
Here's a healing arc! First aid!
I'll crush you. Lightning reflexes. Tenebrous claw.
A freezing storm! Where are you going?
Not today!
Now we're not. No further.
Freeze
Here I
Lancer!
come!
Dance in the wind! Air thrust!
Sword Rain Alpha!
Chain between heaven and earth! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
There you go, Alvin!
It's time to end this battle!
I'm right beside you!
Sword Rain Alpha!
All disasters made one! Do it! Get toasty!
Burn strike.
Radiant
My turn! Swallow Blade! Sword Rain Alpha!
Do it.
Lightning!
Demon's descent. Flashing fang.
I've still got a ways to go!
Swarm!
What my arts can do.
Stay away from my friend!
Wings, careful! It has some kind of camouflage!
I'll smash you! Here I... It's time!
Whirlwind
Dragon
Smash!
Swarm! I'm on a roll now! Try this!
Searing flame!
In a bind? Explosive ring! Eagle assault!
Magna Blade! It's time to finish this! Die! Consuming wildfire! Raging storm! This one's mine! Amazing! Celestial Burst! Eagle assault! Ready to go! Healing circle! What would I do without you?
So much for sitting this fight out.
That wouldn't be a complaint, I hear.
Nope, that is
Do or die!
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
Let me show you
Here
what
I
my
come.
art can do!
You picked the wrong fight! Cross slash! Swallow blade! Prepare to be sealed! No further! Dragon shot! Plasma shot! Eagle assault! Try harder! My ready and railing! Now I'm in the groove!
I'll stop its charge! Thanks, Kisara! A freezing storm! Confiscated! Let the marksman handle this! Hold together! Just a little longer!
Thanks for the sympathy.
Get it together! We need you informed!
Megasonic Flux!
Thanks for the healing!
Watch yourself, okay?
Yeah, you too!
I'll burn it all! Flaming pillar! Fire!
Let me show you what my arts can do!
Burn it out! Now or never! Take this! Now I'm in the groove! Plasma shot! Let's tear him up! Eagle fly! Damn it! I'm just getting started! I'm not done! Anything in armor is all mine! Slice! These fists have got your name on them! Here! I'm on it!
Let the marksman handle this!
Throw away! Shion!
Get toasty!
Bird strike!
Well, looky here! I've got a really bad feeling about this.
Watch it!
Searing flame!
No! I won't give in! I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
Here,
It's time! I can do this all day!
Leave the ensnaring to me.
Yeah! And the bubbling to me! I can do this all day! Sword Ray Alpha! Glimmer Dragon! Can't get out of this!
I need to pull myself together. This is a dream.
Slice! Eagle dive! I can carve through! Now I'm in the groove! Searing Gale!
This'll come in handy.
I'll tear you apart! Here I come! Watch it! First strike!
Will this help?
Enter the flame inside me! Yours to be let free!
I'll be saving this one. Mega Ray!
I don't know what I'd do without you.
Perhaps now isn't the time?
I really don't.
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw! Far enough! I'll finish Eat dirt! Watch it! No further! Slut!
Let me show you
Dragon Swarm! Explosive ring!
I can't heal you forever!
Swallow blade!
Radiant struggle!
Sword Rain Alpha!
Winds of heaven!
Eat this!
Force!
Talon Hurricane Thrust!
Radiant
Eagle
Eagle
Fire!
If it's in the sky, it's mine! Mind if I do?
Eagle, watch this!
Where are you going?
Swallow blade!
Outstanding form!
Strike! Can't get out of this! I'm on it! You're mine!
Now you see what I can do. I'm on a roll now.
You picked the wrong fight! Sword Blade! Sword Rain Alpha!
Thanks, Shion.
Be careful not to overdo it.
I'm sorry. I'll be back.
Far enough! You're finished! Sword Rain Alpha! Try this!
Now I'm real mad!
Super Swallow Dance!
Ready!
You're mine!
Bring you down.
You're mine!
Do you require a hand?
No further!
There!
Swallow Dance! Try harder! Not a chance!
Do it! Go for it!
Prepare to crumble!
My concentration is dwindling. Perhaps I'm tired.
Looks like we made it here in one piece. Hey, Law. Been training?
Yeah, I guess I got a little carried away. You think this is bad, you should see the state of my underwear.
Yeah. A word of advice. You might want to refrain from mentioning that stuff around girls. Ones without a military history especially.
Man, can you imagine Rinwell's face? She'd have a nervous breakdown.
I meant in general, but you sure mention her a lot, you know.
Huh? Oh, you know, she's always there, even when you least expect it. Springs to mind easily.
Either that, or maybe some part of you is subconsciously always wishing she was there.
May the trials and tribulations of young romance never change.
Romance? Like I'd be interested in that know-it-all tomboy. I'm more about mature women. Someone more like Kisara.
You know, I used to be a tomboy too when I was Rinwell's age.
Look, it's not tomboys I have anything against. But come on, you've got to admit she can be a lot to handle.
Hey, I miss anything? What's all the fuss about?
Rinwell.
Thunderblade!
Ah! What the hell was that for?
A little birdie told me you were speaking about me behind my back. Whew!
From the looks of it, I'd say you've got yourself a rival.
It wouldn't be called the Spring of Youth without a little storm every now and then.
Hey, Shion. How are you and Alphen getting on these days?
That's a little out of the blue. Why do you ask?
Sorry, it's just... I don't know, I'm just curious, I guess. I mean, a lot's changed now he's got his senses back and all.
I suppose you're right. Well, to tell you the truth, if he'd been the way he is now back when I'd first met him, I probably wouldn't have gotten this involved. But then, if we hadn't met like we did, then I never would have experienced these feelings, so... I guess it's complicated.
I can imagine. I know it's not the same thing, but I know what it feels like to have someone you love who's out of reach.
Because of Miguel.
Alphen's still alive. It's not too late, you know. And after all, who can say what the future holds? I think if I were you, I'd take things as they come for now.
Besides, touch isn't everything. I've never touched you, Xion, but that doesn't stop you from knowing that I care about you, right?
That's true. But I do remember back when we first met, you made it plenty clear you weren't my biggest fan.
But that was a long time ago. There were lots of things I didn't understand back then. Not that that's the point.
Don't worry, I'm only teasing. I know what you mean. Thank you. And you're right. There are ways to convey your feelings besides just touching.
I'll say, cooking immediately springs to mind. And if it's someone's favorite dish, all the better. If there's something on your mind that you want to tell him, why not try appealing directly to his stomach?
You might just have a point. I'll give it a shot.
Uh-oh. If it's Alphen's palate you're appealing to, that doesn't bode well for the rest of us.
Well, friendship is about being supportive. Sometimes we just have to do our best and take one for the team, right?
Even after staying here, we never truly got to the bottom of what makes this realm's citizens tick.
Renan and Danon are meaningless distinctions here. To have one's own mind is strictly forbidden. All that matters is blind obedience.
That might be the case now, but it can't always have been like that. There must have been something more.
Once, maybe. Question is that something still salvageable?
If it's not, we'll just have to make something new. No, not we. They've had enough foisted on them as it is.
You're right. It's time the people here had the chance to forge their own path. That's not to say it'll be easy, but it will be worthwhile.
These things take time to... What the... An ambush?
Sorry. There was a huge flying bug and I sort of shot without thinking.
A bug? You mean like a Zeugle?
Something tells me she would have shot it, whether it was a Zeugle or not.
This realm is teeming with humid forests. It's only natural insects would feel more at home here than Menancia. In fact, I seem to recall reading somewhere that bugs around these parts lay their eggs in human food to ensure healthy incubation.
Sounds like they're tougher than they look.
What about you, Alphen? Bugs don't creep you out?
I wouldn't say I was their #1 fan. Mind you, if times get desperate enough, I've been known to eat them.
Insects as a culinary option, you say? What kind of seasoning are we talking?
Dohalim, I don't think he was talking about cooking them.
Hey, a lizard! I never thought about this until now, Alphen, but doesn't it get hot wearing that armor all the time? You feel heat and cold again, don't you?
Admittedly, yeah. It can get pretty toasty in this thing.
Is it hard when your back starts to itch?
Oh, you bet. Plus, my shoulders get stiff wearing it, even if it's not all that heavy.
Kisara looks like she manages all right with her armor.
Armor takes a strong body and a stout heart.
Spoken like a true guardsman. Not that I really get what you mean.
The more I think about it, the more I realize what a pain it must be. Like, what do you do when you need to take a leak?
Ew!
That part can be a bit of a pain, yeah. More things to take off.
That sucks, man. Wouldn't it be easier if you just walked around outside of your armor most of the time instead?
You never know when the enemy might attack. As tempting as it might be to take it off, it's not worth getting killed over.
So basically, you're screwed if you ever get attacked while taking a dump. Right, Rinwell?
Are you doing this on purpose?
Hey, Alfin, what do you think of that chick over there?
Doesn't look like she really works out.
I'm not talking about her muscles, you dummy!
Looks like we get to sleep with a roof over our heads.
Have you guys checked your equipment lately?
You can never be too prepared. But did we have to spend so much?
What do you all say to taking the path less trodden for once?
Path? I don't see any path.
Do you mean that thing that looks like an animal trail? Path may be a generous term. I'm assuming you know where it leads?
My gut says to a bridge.
Poodle says your gut's wrong.
Really? Well, it is definitely in the right general direction.
Not that main roads are necessarily danger-free, but he does have an uncanny knack for insisting on some strange and unique routes.
Alphen always did like a challenge. Can't say I appreciate some of the more daredevil ways he's taken us, though.
Like the landslide he insisted was a shortcut before disappearing off the edge? Nearly gave me a heart attack.
I'll say, yet the intrepid explorer looked as happy as a pig in muck.
Probably best we stick to doing our own orienteering in the future.
Hey, so what about this route then?
Maybe if we pretend we can't hear him.
Don't you think the path forward is fraught enough without making extra problems for ourselves? Maybe best to reel it back.
Good point. I say we stick to the main track like regular travelers for once.
Guys? I will break down this wall!
Why are you staring at me?
I love how much amazing food we get to eat even when we're out on the road.
Me too, especially compared to what I used to have when I was still a slave. This is paradise.
It's amazing what good food can do to keep your hopes up. Nagal used to say all the time that the power of food is subtle, yet profound.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? For whatever reason, I find I don't worry nearly as much when I've got a full stomach helping me out.
That's why you shouldn't be such a picky eater.
Huh?
She's right. You always leave food that you don't like on your plate when you're done.
Come on, what's the big deal?
Back in the day, I couldn't think about leaving any food. It was such a waste not to eat at all. You needed every last scrap of energy.
Exactly. Even when my brother and I didn't have much to eat, we all did what we could to make it taste good and enjoy what we had.
That definitely explains a lot about why you cook the way you do, Kisara.
Dohalim, I bet you don't know what any of that's like. You must be used to food being handed to you on a silver platter.
Sometimes it was gold.
You didn't shy away from that at all.
Although, there was one experience that does come to mind.
Oh?
When I first learned that the food I ate originally came from animals and fish, I was rather taken aback.
You just ate whatever was in front of you without even thinking about it?
That's a silver spoon elite for you. Mind if I join you, Law?
So, how's it been going?
How's what been going?
Come on, man. You know what I mean. How have things been with you and Shion?
I had a feeling it was about that. Well, what about things on your end?
No, we're not talking about me. I'd rather hear about you.
I don't really have anything to share on that front.
Don't be like that. You think I can't tell something's been going on?
Look, I'm not the type to go blabbing about that kind of stuff.
Give me a break. Don't keep secrets from me just because you're a little old.
I'm not that old.
I don't know, man. Lately it seems like you start wheezing as soon as we get into a fight.
That's some pretty big talk. You really want to try your luck with me? What were we talking about before?
It was...
What's wrong? Did I hit your head too hard?
No, man, you don't get it. You're really something, Alphen.
What do you mean?
Just you. How you always indulge me and help me work through my jumbled thoughts.
Do I?
Yeah, I always feel better after being with you. Even duking it out just now helped.
There you go again. making me out to be better than I really am.
I'm not making you out to be anything. You can't stop me from admiring you, Al.
You've got strange taste then.
I'm fine with that. I hope someday I can be there to lift you up, too.
I don't plan on getting quite that old anytime soon.
We should go again sometime.
We should. I look forward to it.
We should go on a training trip together sometime. You guys ready to hit the road? I know I am.
Something feels odd here. Be on your guard.
No further!
You're mine!
Here I go!
You're mine! Form! Swallow dance! Slash!
I can carve through armor!
Swallow blade!
Here I go!
It's on!
What's this?
Rising Falcon! It's over!
Pesky airborne scoundrel!
Sounds like a job for yours truly! Don't mind if I do! Go for it!
Prepare to crumble!
Come and face me!
Got you!
Mirage!
Radiant,
Take
come
this!
here!
Sword Rain out! Dueling! In an instant! Impact Claw!
Illuminate the dark! My judgment!
Strike!
Holy
Take
power!
it!
In the
Swallow
glory!
blade!
A
Sword
chain
Rain
between
out!
heaven and earth!
You're
These
mine!
fists have got your name on them!
The awakening!
The earth throbs in pain.
Divine Savior!
Well,
You
well.
do it! Wind of
Severing
heaven!
wind!
First forth!
Let's keep our eyes on the prize. feeling about this.
Okay, here I go.
I'll smash you! Oh, now I'm real mad.
Here, let's help.
What is this?
Hey, you okay?
I can still do this. An astral art?
That's my cue.
In the groove.
Shut him down. Double Demon Fang!
Now I'm in trouble. I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
You're mine!
Escape my judgment. Lightning
Crumble! Eat dirt!
You got company.
Swallow blade!
Dance in the wind. Air now. Dohalim. This one's got your name on it.
Ashes to ashes! My turn!
Stars of light. Rain
Sword
down
Rain
and
Alpha.
pure night. I never miss.
In a bind? All good
I'll
things
heal
come
you
from
all.
watching.
Pierce through!
Dance in the wind.
Fury! It's all
Away! Template roll down.
You'll pay for that!
Do it. Astral energy.
Say no more! Got it!
Well done.
Blast the shock!
Resuscitation.
Rising...
Cyan is
Not done yet! Here I come! Sword Rain Alpha!
This could be useful.
We should be able to cook here.
Doing some thinking?
Nah. It just occurred to me that our journey's been going for a while now.
Is it a wonder to you our group has held together this long?
Maybe. We've got Danans, Renans, a lord, a mage, and even a guy from another time. Yet here we all are, leaning on each other as travel companions. It's like a minor miracle.
If anything, I'd say it's proof. Proof that as long as we accept each other for who we are, we can all get along.
And with understanding comes togetherness. Yeah, we are more than enough evidence of that.
I've always had a thorny relationship with others. Quite literally, as it happens. I figured that it was easier to give up on intimacy, rather than having to go through all of the pain of rejection. I mean, is it any wonder I grew thorns around my heart, too?
But now...
Right. Now, I still have my thorns, of course. But they don't cover my heart. I know now that there is more than one way for people to relate to one another. It was you and everyone else here that taught me that. Everyone that you brought together, Alphen.
It wasn't just me. I mean, sure, I invited a few folks to join us, but... swordsmanship's about all I have to offer. Everyone's taught and supported me just as much as I have them.
You see? That's what I'm talking about.
What do you mean?
I mean, you're fine just as you are. The bonds that you form with others, they shine more brightly because they're mutual. It's not just one bond for you. It's many, each with a heart of its own. That's what makes them special.
Alphen, do you understand what's on the line here?
What?
The fish, Alphen. With all these Zoogles around, nobody can give them a good home. Namely, my stomach.
Jan, we can't rush this. If there's a big-time Zoogle waiting for us, we've got to be prepared.
You've got a point.
We can't let some dumb Zoogle beat us. Not with these fish at stake.
I'm pretty sure we're all in it to win it here.
Your cooking has really improved, Xion.
It's because of you that I understand what makes it so fun. I'm glad everyone seems to enjoy what I make too.
I've noticed a disturbing trend that after it's your turn to cook, our ingredients tend to run really low. What's up with that?
That is a good point, Law. There's a weird difference between the amount of ingredients she prepares and how much food actually gets served. Curious. Very curious indeed.
I don't know. Isn't it pretty normal for veggies to shrink a little when you fry them up?
Or maybe she eats all the bad batches herself so we won't notice.
Come on. I wouldn't do anything like that.
Then how would you explain the difference?
Ahem. I have a theory that I wish to propose.
What is it?
As we all know, Xion here can have quite the appetite. I imagine she often taste tests her own food as she prepares it. By my eye, it would appear that her footprints are leaving deeper impressions as of late. Far be it from me to level such an accusation, but the facts lead me to conclude that...
She's been snacking while she cooks.
And yet, she still looks so slender in her clothing.
Yeah, I'm kind of envious, actually.
Wait a sec, are you guys trying to say she's...
I'm what?
Nothing?
Nothing. Xion, about that fight just now.
Sorry about that. I was careless.
I didn't come to criticize you. Just please take better care of yourself.
You don't need to worry about me. In case you forgot, I can't exactly die anyway. It's like how you used to not care about getting beat up because you couldn't feel pain, and then I was the one to patch you up. It's the same thing.
You're right. That is how I used to be. But this isn't the same.
Then what do you mean? How is what's happening now different from what happened then?
It's different now.
Look, if you mean because you can feel pain again,
It's because I don't want to see you getting hurt. You're right. When I couldn't feel any pain, I put myself in all sorts of dangerous situations. I didn't listen to anybody's warnings, and I made a lot of people worried for no good reason. It was foolish. This isn't about you and me being able to take pain. I don't want to have to see you get hurt, Xion. It's too much for me to take. Is that a crazy thing to say?
No, it isn't. And I definitely don't like seeing you get hurt either, Alphen. We can't expect our enemies to show us any mercy, but I will do my best not to throw myself in harm's way out there either. How does that sound?
I'm sorry if I sounded harsh earlier. I didn't mean to. I just really want you to take better care of yourself.
I will. At least, for as long as I can.
Hey, Alphen, why do you like spicy food so much anyway?
You know, I haven't thought about that before. Maybe because when I couldn't feel pain, it gave me that kick I was craving.
But now that you can feel pain again, wouldn't your tastes have changed?
Did you like spicy food when you were younger?
Not as much as I do now. At some point, it just became something almost like an addiction, I guess.
I can most certainly relate. Once you've had your fill of ordinary food, you cannot help but seek out more unusual fare.
I don't think that's got anything to do with Alphen's tastes. Although I won't deny that you definitely have a thing for exotic food. The stranger the better.
I just wish I could have gotten you into sweets like me, Alphen.
I like food that's dense and keeps you feeling full myself. It helps you last longer when you're on the move.
We all know you're a quantity over quality kind of...
What was that?
Nothing. I lost my train of thought.
You know, I've also noticed Xion's not really into the same kind of food most Renans are. Could be it's got something to do with the way she grew up.
That's so me! Even when I was little, I was all about food that gives me strength. all meat, all the time.
And I guess Kisara is so good at cooking fish because she can catch them herself.
I'm only good with fish because it used to be the easiest thing to get. When you work with something long enough, it comes naturally to you.
I like fish just fine. But what I really like about your cooking is how it tastes homemade. It reminds me of what my mom used to make.
Really? You know, I used to cook a lot of meals for younger kids, and they said the same thing.
When you get down to it, I guess the things a person cooks and the foods they like say a lot about the way they've lived. Shion, could we talk a moment?
I thought you had something to talk about. I was waiting on you.
Not really. Why? Should I leave you alone when I don't?
No, it's fine.
We used to really have to force these conversations when we started talking to each other, didn't we?
To say the least. Hey,
What is it?
do you think you'd like to make something together?
Make what exactly?
Just if you wanna make dinner together. What did you think I meant?
Huh? Dinner? Oh, dinner! Yes! Yes, of course! Dinner! Right.
What did you think I was talking about?
No, it's nothing. Don't worry about it.
Well, do you recognize...
This is...
So you remember? That's right. We're going to fix the very first meal we ever had together. Although I remember it not being well received when we had it.
You still remember that, huh?
I'm just teasing you, Alphen. I picked this recipe because it's easy to make, and I thought it would be a good choice for dinner, too. Anyway, let's get to work. With both of us making it, we should be finished in no time.
I never thought we'd end up eating alone like this again.
Yeah. So much has changed when you look back on it. Well, I guess maybe not what we're eating.
No, I'd say even that's changed too, in a sense. Our meals are a whole lot better now.
True. We've both come quite a long way in the culinary arts.
That's not exactly what I mean. How do I put it? It feels like eating together is a lot more enjoyable than it used to be.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Even after our battles are done. When Dana is saved and our mission is finished, we'll probably still be sitting down to dinner like this, night after night.
Yep, I doubt that much will change. You've always got to eat at some point.
I hope our dinners will always feel like this.
Maybe not exactly like this. Hopefully we won't still be camping out.
Oh, no, not at all. I meant in a nice, warm house. One with a roof over our heads and a proper fireplace, instead of an open campfire.
And real chairs instead of these logs. Nice plates and silverware on a big dining table. Oh, and a proper kitchen. That'd be nice too.
And when it's time to fix dinner, we'll...
Standing side by side.
Whoops. Looks like we made too much.
Yeah, you're right. I'll see if anybody else is still awake. I'd really hate to have to throw it away.
Side by side, huh?
I'm looking forward to breakfast. Did you get enough sleep? Time I try on something new.
I've got a bad feeling about this one.
Me too. Better keep our distance.
So this
Is the one who polluted the pond! Consider this payback for all those fish!
you require a hand.
Aim for the weak spot.
Okay.
Freaking does it!
Sword Lane Alpha! Try harder! My turn! I'm on Dragon Swarm!
Leave the enemy's arc to me.
Now I'm in trouble. No complaints here.
No further!
Not my finest.
You pay
It's
for that!
raining blobs of slime. Gross.
I'll take out as many as I can.
It's gonna attack!
Right, watch out.
Try harder! Swirl Blade! Not clear!
Whirling Banshee of Lightning.
Lunar Rocker!
I'll smash you!
Firmament Thunder.
Rising
Confiscated.
Falcon! You're mine!
Blast
Dragon Swarm!
Now or never.
This one's mine.
So much for sitting this fight out.
Dragon
No,
Swarm!
that'd be silly.
Burn!
Inspiration!
Take it!
Time for one more.
I'm
I
going to
have
need
no
to use
limits.
all the power of my healing art.
Let it go.
Smart.
I've let you all down.
Stay away from my friend! Dragon Swarm!
I'll bring you back from death
Wind!
abyss.
Mirage! I'll burn it all! Flaming Pillar! Fire!
It's about. Strike.
Look sharp, everyone!
In a bind? I've let you all down.
Here I come! Sword Rain Alpha!
Denied!
Swallow Blade! Dragon! Plasma Shock! Thanks! Hurricane Thrust! Now, while it's reeling!
Take it down.
Mirage! Dragon Swarm! I can't move!
Leave me.
Swallow Blade! Plasma Shock!
Not on my watch.
I'll bring you
Lunar
back from
Roundup!
death's abyss.
Take care of.
Now or never. There!
I don't know what I'd do without you.
Perhaps now isn't the time?
I really don't.
I've still got the fight left in me.
I'm ready!
Sword Rain!
Whirling struggle.
No escape! To the flame inside me yearns to be let free! Try this!
Come on, old shattering!
Infernal Torrent!
Pieces! Attack
Is
us!
this it?
Let's get you all cut to. Way.
Talon Storm!
Let's get you all
Too
cut
slow!
away. Freeze Lancer! I can do this all day.
Our Talon Storm!
It's time!
You get the gist.
First strike! I'm just getting started! I've let you all
I'm
down.
not sure how we get out of this one.
You mean? This might be the end?
No. Never. Stay strong.
I owe you one.
Must be tired of hearing me.
This one's got your name on it!
Ashes to ashes.
Ready to go!
Ready to go. Changing tactics.
There's no telling what it'll do. Stay focused!
Take this.
This one's mine!
Piercing far enough. Can you take it?
And now you're getting serious?
The big one. You're hold on. Strike.
I owe you one for that.
Try
I'll
this.
bring you back from death's abyss!
Can't end here.
I'll bring you back from death's
You're
abyss!
mine. Swallow blade. Is this it?
There are... Interrupted.
Benediction light.
An outstanding
No honor in being interrupted.
Thank you for the healing, Doberman.
Our comrades need our abilities to survive.
ready. I'll take you all on. Ha! Flare Demolisher!
I'll bring you back from death's abyss!
No! Surprise! Look sharp!
Here's a healing
Guardian Field! I'm ready to go!
You do the same for me.
That helps.
No escape.
Wait!
Take this. Dragon swarm. Strike. Captivity. Try
I
this.
owe you one.
Is
Ready to
this
go!
it? Forgive me. It's my fault.
This one's far enough!
From beyond, imbue this vanquished soul with love. From beyond.
I owe you one for that. All right, let me at him.
I'm not done yet.
You're
You're mine. Can't get out of this. Sword Rain Alpha. It's in your hands now. Dragon swarm.
Piercing roar!
Explosive ring.
Flaming meat! Are we in over our heads?
Come on. It's not over till it's over.
You're right. I'm ready to go! We should be able to